A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Car New, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Summer does seem to have arrived, and with it that welcome change of activities and the chance to be more out of doors. May I suggest that summer demonstrates some very important extra uses for Johnson's Wax? Take your sporting things, for example, tennis rackets, golf clubs and bags, fishing rods, baseball bats and gloves. Did you remember to protect them all with a coat of Johnson's Wax when you put them away? If you did, you'll probably find them in good condition, fit as a fiddle and ready for use. The wax keeps the wood and leather from drying out. Protects the metal surfaces, too, against dampness and dirt. Then how about your screen frames and your porch and outdoor furniture of metal or wood? If you haven't been waxing these things with genuine Johnson's Wax, you've missed a good bet. As a matter of fact, every one of these extra uses for Johnson's Wax has been suggested by a number of you in recent letters. Many thanks. And bear them in mind, won't you, next time you Johnson's Wax your floors, furniture, and woodwork. One good thing about the Sunday papers, if you're a slow reader, they last all week. And here in the living room at 79 Wistful Vista on a Tuesday afternoon, catching up with that little orphan, Annie, and that famous Dick, Tracy, we find Mr. McGee of Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Oh, boy, is this rich. Hey, Molly, you ever read Chief Wahoo?
Who?
Wahoo. Yeah, Wahoo. Indian character in the funnies.
Oh, yes.
He's got an idea to set aside 1 week a year for the braves to do all the work and give the squaws a rest, see? So old Mooseface, that's Butterball's husband.
Don't tell me, McGee.
Huh?
You know I like to read the funnies myself.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you do. Hey, here's an interesting article in the scientific section. It says the way you feel is reflected in the way you look.
Well, that's a startling discovery. Anybody who's ever owned a looking glass knows that.
No, that ain't the point. It goes on to say, and I quote, the reverse is also true. If you look happy and healthy, you'll feel happy and healthy. Your body subconsciously reacts to your facial expression.
I must be a pretty picture of womanhood just before I sneeze, then.
Oh, the idea is that the way you feel good and be healthy is to act healthy and happy.
Oh, yes.
Get your puss all fixed for it and your body reacts, you see. Act happy all the time and you'll be happy all the time. Yeah.
That, dear boy, is a lot of mulligatawny.
Huh?
The human race isn't built for it. Happiness should be taken in small doses. Nobody can be happy all the time, McGee.
Huh?
That's what makes merry-go-round horses so glassy-eyed.
Personally, I think it's worth trying. I think I will try it.
Oh, dear.
George, from now on, I'm going to smile my way through life.
Well, you go right ahead, McGee. Be a happiness boy. At least it'll be easier on my nerves than it will be on your face.
You're a great kid, Molly. Always joshing me. You go ahead and be a pessimist. I got happiness enough for both of us. Yes, sir. Happy-go-lucky McGee, that's me. I'll be the greatest little tonic for the...
Now, if that's the man to collect the installment on the piano, just tell him to look happy and he'll be happy.
Oh.
I'll run up and get the iodine.
I don't care who it is. I love everybody. Come in.
How do you do?
Hi, sis. Mighty happy to see you. Yes, sir, mighty happy. Just step in and get a load of the joy of living, sis. Make our house your home. We call it Contentment Cottage.
Since when, McGee?
Since just now. Sis, you look kind of careworn and worried. Don't feel like that. Be gay. Be cheerful. As you look, so you'll feel. Now you take me, for instance.
Yes, take him and don't bring him back till he has a good grouch on. What was it you wanted, dearie?
Lady, I'm trying to sell magazines. I haven't sold a single subscription today. I'm tired and hungry and almost broke.
That's because you haven't got the right attitude, sis. Things will come your way if you only look cheerful. Yes, sir. Laugh and the world laughs with you, and cry and you'll ruin your beer. That's what I always say.
McGee, give the lady $3 and order a magazine.
Oh.
We need some magazines.
But, Molly, all her troubles...
Don't tell me about her troubles. I've never seen any yet that hard cash wouldn't help more than a lot of soft words.
Well, okay. Here, sis. Here's $3. Send us the Reader's Digest.
Oh, yes, sir, and thank you very much.
I like the Reader's Digest because I can read that in bed, and if I drop off to sleep, I know it ain't going to kill me if it falls on me. That's the way I look at things, sis. The cheerful side. Be cheerful, and things will come your way.
Oh! Why that?
Well, did you see what she did?
I did.
Slapped me right in with that bunch of magazines.
Sure. Well, you're just lucky she wasn't selling the Encyclopedia Britannica.
But after we helped her, my gosh, such ungrateful-tude.
Look, dearie, you can't pour happiness onto people like it was a pitcher of maple syrup.
Yeah, but gee whiz.
If you want to laugh merrily and dance around on the lawn in your carefree abandon, it's nobody's business. But don't try to sell everybody else on it.
That's where you're wrong, Molly. The idea is to spread happiness, like throwing a rock into a river. The ripples spread. I'm going to be the rock.
Yeah, and somebody's going to throw you in the river.
Well, everything happens for the best. That's what I always say. Yes, sir. One minor setback.
Turn on the charm, dearie. Here comes another victim.
Good. Everybody comes to see old happy-go-lucky McGee. I must do something to people.
Yes, but nothing that a little bicarbonate of soda wouldn't settle. Come in.
Hello, kids. Mind to sit down a spell?
Why, of course not, Mr. Oldtimer. Sit right down here.
Don't look so downhearted, old sock. Cheer up. Snap out of it. What if the skies look gray today? The gray skies bring the blue skies bring the sunshine.
And sunshine brings flowers, and flowers bring hay fever. So just skip the inspirational lecture, McGee. What's the matter with you, Mr. Oldtimer?
It's Bessie, kids.
Huh? Bessie?
Your girl? You mean the one you're engaged to, huh?
Yep. Bessie's threw me down. Oh. I've been jolted.
You mean jilted?
Yes, but it was a jilt with a jolt, daughter. Here I was, derby over britches in love. Never looked at another woman. Well, maybe I looked now and then, but... Well, there I was, saving my money, taking Bessie to a movie 2 nights a week, always sending her a corset of violets. Corsage. And what happens? She throws me over like a broken toy. That's what I am, kids, a broken toy. Passion's plaything. I'm desperate. I think I'll go home and hang myself. The carpet on the clothesline and whale the bajunior out of it.
None of that now, old-timer. That's just self-pity. You got to look for the silver lining. Nobody ever lost anything by being cheerful, my friend. Act happy and you'll be happy. That's the stuff. What if you did get tossed over? What's a woman anyway? Remember what Kiplinger says, a rag, a bone, and 12 bobby pins. Just think you might got married to Bessie and then found out she leaves the cap off the toothpaste tube. Why, you don't know when you're well off.
It's no use, Johnny. My heart's busted. I'm going to get me a job as a welder. As long as I'm carrying the torch, I might as well... Hey, who's that?
Who's who?
Where?
Going past the house out there.
Oh, that's some woman selling magazine subscriptions. She was just in here.
Say, she's kind of cute.
Huh?
I just happened to think. My subscription to the American Boy expires next week. So long, kids. Hey there, baby. Wait a minute. I got a little proper...
Hey. Well, what did I tell you, Molly? My cheerful attitude gave him a new interest in life. He's learned to look for the blue sky.
He has indeed.
Yes,
the hard way, too.
Huh?
There he is, flat on his back on the sidewalk. She counts him.
Huh? Oh, sure. At the world through rose-colored glasses, and everything is rosy. Hey, Molly.
Yes, Pollyanna.
We got any aspirin? I think I got a little neuralgia in my face.
Oh, you haven't any such thing, dearie.
I must have. My face aches all over.
Of course it does. You've been smiling that idiotic happy smile so long your face has gone to sleep. And how I envy it.
Oh, well, if it's only a smile that causes it, everything's okay. If we never have any pain, we'll never appreciate our happiness, I always say. Yes, sir.
Your happiness is going to be a beautiful thing to see when I tell you that Mrs. Uppington is just coming up the steps.
Why, that... Uppington. There's a fine woman. I'm very fond of Mrs. Uppington.
You are?
Yes, sir. Rich or poor, there's some good in everybody, I always say. Hey, did you get a gander at that hat she's wearing? Where does she buy those monstrosities?
We'll never know. It's a millinery secret. Come in. Hello there, Abigail, darling. What a lovely surprise.
How do you do, my dear? And Mr. McGee.
Ah, there, my dear girl. And how are you this lovely, lovely afternoon? This is life at its best, surrounded by one's friends.
Oh, my.
Let us all join hands and sing something gay. Life is what you make it, I always say.
You keep that up and you'll never make it.
What do you think of life, Abigail, my dear girl? Do you agree with me that one should face the world with a shout of laughter, with a carefree smile and a merry quip? What do you think of life?
Life is a stench.
Why, Abigail, what on earth is the matter?
Everything is the matter, Mr. McGee.
Huh?
I just had a fire in my kitchen, which burned up all my ration books. I ruined my last pair of nylons putting it out. And now the insurance company tells me my policy expired last week. What, Mr. McGee, are you looking so happy about?
At this golden opportunity, dear girl. All these little things are but passing ripples on the stream of life. You must learn to shrug your pretty shoulders at little irritations. Be gay. Never let your face fall, and you never have to have it lifted, I always said.
Isn't it awful, Abigail? You've just had a few minutes of it. If I hear much more, I'm going to sit down and write a fan letter to Boris Karloff.
Let us look upon life as a great adventure, greeting each new experience with a cry of gladness. Let us enrich our souls with each passing moment and string together the days of our years like precious pearls upon the silver strand of existence. What do you say, kid?
Mr. McGee, you don't know what this little talk has done for me.
What do you mean, Abigail?
I hadn't realized until now how fortunate I was. After all, my ration books can be replaced. My kitchen can be repaired. I can afford the loss.
That's the spirit, Uppy. I always
And
say...
furthermore, Mrs. McGee, when I get home, I shall wander about my house with a new appreciation, with tears of gladness in my eyes. that I don't have to live with a husband who dishes out such nauseating gobs of wall motto hokum. Goodbye.
I warned you, McGee. You scatter your sunshine so thick everybody gets blistered.
That old pie plate hasn't welcomed a new thought since Gandhi started wearing a zoot sheet.
Well, maybe that'll teach you a lesson. As you always say, you can treasure this passing moment as one more precious slice of bologna in the lunchbox of life.
You know, Molly, I think I'll start writing a diary. From now on, my life is going to be so happy, so rich in values, it'll be an inspiration to everybody. Imagine a big life-size statue of me in the park, dedicated to Happy-Go-Lucky McGee, the man who brought joy and happiness to millions.
How can they make a full-size statue when your philosophy is just a bust?
That's very good, my dear, very good indeed. I shall mention in my diary how much your humorous comments have meant to me in a life devoted to bringing cheer and
Hiya, folks.
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, Junior. Welcome to our happy little family circle. Sit down, my boy, and tell us in your own simple words just what rich new meaning you've gotten out of life today.
Hey, what goes on here?
Don't get alarmed, Mr. Wilcox. McGee has gone smiley glad on us. He's now going through life with a rose in his teeth. And on him it smells good.
Well, I don't want any part of it. This is one of my bad days, and I don't want anybody giving me that old pip-pip, cheerio, carry-on business.
That's where you're wrong, Junior. It's when things go wrong that we must strive hardest for happiness.
Sure.
Anybody can be cheerful when things are copacetic, but the man worthwhile is the man who can smile when everything goes dead wrong, unquote.
Isn't that sickening? And what went wrong with you today, Mr. Wilcox?
I lost a good customer.
You mean somebody got him away from you?
Oh, no, he just moved away.
Well, so what, Junior? Laugh it off. You got lots more customers. Don't you realize that whatever goes wrong, a happy smile will fix it?
God, don't feed me that popcorn, pal. I could laugh my head off and it wouldn't bring my customer back. Gee, he left so suddenly I didn't even get a chance to tell him about Carnew.
Oh.
Not a minute to point out how Carnew would give his shabby old jalopy a gorgeous new luster.
Oh, now, Mr. Wilcox, don't say
He left town without ever learning that Carnew cleans and polishes to a beautiful, glistening finish with so little effort.
Oh.
Poor guy went away probably still believing that he has to sweat and rub and wear himself out to give his car that showroom polish.
Oh.
Never realizing that with Carnew, all you have to do is apply it, let it dry, wipe it off with a soft cloth. Oh, the poor devil.
Oh. Well, he'll hear about it sooner or later. Everybody does.
Oh, sure he will. Come, Junior. Chin up. Laugh it off. Ha, ha, ha. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Snore in your sleep alone, I always say. Come. Let's look on the bright side of it.
Well, until he finds out about Carnew, there won't be any bright sides. Oh, well, maybe you're right, pal. I'll run back to the office and write old Heffelfinger a letter.
Sure, that's much the best. Who did you say?
Heffelfinger. Marcus P. Heffelfinger. Well, thanks for the good cheer, pal. I'll see you later.
Heffelfinger. That name sounds familiar. Who do I know named Heffelfinger?
Search me, dearie. Was he the man who you were going in business with to reclaim wood shavings from pencil sharpeners one time?
No. Oh, that was Fred Nittany from Starved Rock, Illinois. Heffelfinger. Seems to me Oh, well, it ain't important. The only important thing in life is to be happy.
Well, personally, I'm getting a little tired of it already. I think I'll go upstairs and lie down a while.
Don't you feel good, baby?
I feel fine, McGee, but all this happiness of yours has worn me out. Permanent gaiety takes a strong constitution. I'll be down a little while now.
There goes a good kid. What would life be without a little partner to share your joys and tribulations? What would it be? You're right, Lum and Abner. That's a wonderful world. I never thought... Come in, neighbor. Come in. Welcome to a house full of high hearts, high spirits.
Hi, mister.
Hi, sis. Mighty glad to see you.
Why, dear son?
I says, I'm very happy to see you, sis.
Oh?
You don't know what it means to Uncle Fibber to see your little face peeping up at me like a shy little woodland flower yearning for a glimpse of the morning sunlight.
Are you kidding?
Certainly I'm not kidding. I've discovered the way to be healthy and contented, that's all.
Oh?
I read it in the Sunday paper. You see, sis, science has discovered that if your face smiles, your body smiles, you see. If you got a pain in your sawdust and your face wants to look nasty about it, don't let it. Put a grin on your puss and the pain goes away. You'll be happy. Ain't that wonderful?
Who'd you say discovered that, mister?
Science. What's so funny?
Oh, you're so naive, mister.
Huh?
Look, don't you realize a lot of that stuff is pure malarkey?
Huh?
Don't you know the editor says to somebody, give me 1,500 words of horse feathers on how to be cheerful?
Why, sis, I never suspected.
Surely you're intelligent enough to know that there is no definite scientific evidence linking facial animation with the organic processes.
Well, gee whiz, sis.
Look, mister, you got it all backwards.
Huh?
A dog isn't happy because his tail is wagging.
Huh?
His tail is wagging because he's happy.
Oh.
Sure. According to your logic, salt and pepper taste good because you put a fried egg under them. Get wise to yourself, Bob.
The King's Men sing McNamara's Band.
Oh, we work for McNamara, he's the leader of the band. Although we're few in numbers, we're the finest in the land. We play at wakes and weddings and at every fancy ball. But for our own amazement, we can play the best of all. Oh, the drums go bang and the cymbals clang and the trumpets they blaze away.
McCarthy pumps the old bassoon while all the pipers play.
Tennessee tunes the flute and the music is simply grand. Proud we are to be a part of McNamara's band. So very pretty that the girls won't leave them alone. Oh, Donald O'Connell, O'Harrigan, Kerrigan on the trumpets play. We had to build a fence around to keep the girls away. Oh, the saxophones and the slide trombones can hypnotize the crowd.
The papers say the way we play is certainly good and loud.
Donovan Sullivan tweeted the pipe and the music is simply grand. Everybody's awful proud of McNamara's band. Yes, Yorkerson come from Old Mauvais to play with McNamara's band. They travel all the way. But when we march the street along, we get the yawly hand. We're Johnson, Torgerson, Yorkerson, beat an Irish band. Oh, we got a bunch of shamrock and our uniform is green. We're the funniest looking Swedes that ever you have seen. There's O'Brien's and Ryans and Sheehan's and Means, they come from Ireland. By Yemeni, we're the only Swedes in McNamara's band. The drums go bang and the cymbals clang and the trumpets they blaze away. Everybody dances when the band begins to play. Tennessee, toodles the flute and the music is simply grand. Proud we are to be a part of McNamara's band.
When you're smiling and the whole world smiles with Heffelfinger. Where did I ever know a guy named Heffelfinger? I wish I could think of Heffelfinger.
What are you muttering about, McGee?
Heffelfinger. You ever hear me mention a guy named Heffelfinger?
No, I don't think so.
I'll bet the reason I can't remember it is because there was something unpleasant about it. That's how my new philosophy works. You only remember the happy things.
You keep that up and you'll have a wonderful old age, dearie.
Huh?
You'll be scooting around in a combination wheelchair and good humor wagon.
Well, it's wonderful to be free of worry and care. To think that just by putting on an expression of good cheer, the whole world looks brighter.
Heavenly day.
Wasn't it Confucius who says a man with a happy map will get somewhere?
Well, it was either Confucius or the Hardware Journal. I don't quite remember.
Ah, another visitor. Another chance for me to spread a little happiness in this gloomy old world.
It'd be easier to swallow if you didn't spread it on quite so thick, though. Come in. Oh, for goodness sakes, Dr. Gamble. Come in, Doctor.
Well, hi, Doc. Sit down. Take a load off your metatarsals.
Thanks, I will. How are you, Mrs. McGee?
Oh, I'm just fine, Doctor. And you?
I'm all right, much to my own surprise. I've spent such a nerve-wracking day with my prized collection of hypochondriacs, nature fakers, and capsule clutchers, I thought I'd stop in for a visit with a couple of comparatively healthy people.
What do you mean, comparatively? I'm the healthiest man in this town, Doc. And why? Because I've learned the secret of happiness. That's why.
Well, now, isn't that just dandy? You ought to be in a glass case at the Smithsonian, McGee. You're a rare object.
Say, are all doctors as cynical as you are, Doctor?
I'm not cynical, Mrs. McGee. I'm a bright-eyed optimist. I still have a childish faith in sometime meeting a human being who doesn't think his own hangnails are the medical sensation of the century.
Wolliver. Well, you don't have to look any further, Doc. You've met him. And I'm it. I haven't got a pain or an ache or a complex. I'm healthy and happy, and I can lick my weight in wildflowers. Or wildcats.
What are you grinning about? You look like a baby with the colic. Take off your shirt, McGee.
Oh, dear.
No. You can't make me mad, Doctor. Nothing makes me mad. For the first time in my life, I'm under strict control. I've lost my temper for the last time.
You know, he's been like this all day, too, Doctor.
You mean you've been continuously exposed to this one-man glee club? McGee, you better go to bed. I'll give you a sedative. As I was saying to a man named Heffelfinger the other day.
Heffelfinger?
Yeah, you know him. Just moved out of town.
Well, McGee thinks he knows him, but he can't quite place him.
Yeah.
I don't know why he can't place him. They've been playing pinochle together at the Elks for 2 years.
Oh, now I got it. Heffelfinger. Why, that rat. That chiseler. He moved out of town without paying me the $4 he owes me. Why, that...
Now, McGee, calm yourself.
Calm myself, my clavicle. Of all the low-down, miserable tricks.
McGee, stop kicking the lamp.
Let him go, Mrs. McGee. He's been happy for several hours. Nobody can stand it for longer than that.
Heffelfinger. That double-crossing, two-timing, petty larceny pickpocket. Why does everything have to happen to me?
Let him alone. He's happy.
Heffelfinger. I'll pay you next week, he says. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow at the club, he says. Wait till I get my hands on him.
It's nice to be able to keep outside doors and windows open again, isn't it? But it brings a special problem of its own, because dust and dampness do come in as uninvited guests. This is especially true in the kitchen end of the house. And it's an extra reason for keeping your linoleum floors protected regularly with Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat. Then, when dust and moisture do come in, they're very quickly removed with a broom, mop, or cloth, and the linoleum itself is not touched. It's the film of Glow Coat that takes all the wear. The surface underneath is safe. Now, you know, of course, that Glow Coat is self-polishing. It shines as it dries without any rubbing or buffing. And it's so easy to use. Saves you so much time and work. Keeps linoleum beautiful and new-looking almost indefinitely. Well, I could go on, but I'm sure you know the story of easy-to-use Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat.
Of all that dirty crook.
Now, take it easy, McGee. Don't you want to be happy?
The only thing that'll make me happy is to get my dukes on that nickel-nursing hijacker. I'll slap him so pop-eyed his pupils won't go back till September. Good night.
McGee.
Huh? Oh, good night.
That's better. Good night, all.
character of the old-timer was played by Bill Thompson. This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you all to join us again next Tuesday night. Good night. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Kraft presents the Great Gildersleeve. The Kraft Cheese Company will also bring you Bing Crosby every Thursday night. Present each week at this time Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve, written by John Whedon and Sam Moore. We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. What's the grandest, most appetizing aroma that ever wafted its way out of a kitchen? Well, for me, it's always been the tempting smell of flaky, crusty brown bread or rolls fresh from the oven. And say, did you ever spread bread or rolls when they're fresh and piping hot with delicious Parquet margarine? Now, there's a way to really enjoy all of your baking favorites, to spread them with Parquet margarine. For Parquet's own fine flavor makes other foods taste better. Of course, that's to be expected. For Parquet is the quality spread for bread made by Kraft. So, naturally, being made by Kraft, you'd expect Parquet to have a delicate, appetizing flavor that really satisfies. And since Parquet requires only 4 ration points a pound, your whole family can enjoy it at every meal. Parquet is a grand source of food energy, too, and every pound contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So, serve Parquet for its own flavorful goodness and for the extra flavor it gives to other foods. Ask your dealer tomorrow for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y, Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's see what's happening to the Great Gildersleeve. Well, tonight our hero has taken another step forward in his public career in Summerfield. He's been elected to fill a vacancy on the school board. And having attended his first meeting, he and Judge Hooker are escorting Miss Goodwin, the grammar school principal, to her home.
Well, it's been so nice of you gentlemen to see me home.
The pleasure, Miss Goodwin, was all ours.
You're sure I couldn't persuade you to come in for a moment?
Why,
the judge has to be getting home, I'm afraid. Busy day tomorrow, eh, Judge?
Well, I don't know if you...
Yes, the law is a stern mistress, All those briefs to read, decisions to hand down, bills to collect. Not much time for play, is there, Judge?
No, the law's demands are pretty heavy. But as it happens...
So if you don't mind, Miss Goodwin, I think perhaps we'd better say goodnight. Perhaps another time?
Well, now, wait a minute. I don't know about you, Gildy, but personally, I should be delighted.
Another time, perhaps, Judge.
All right, I can take a hint.
I was beginning to wonder.
Miss Goodwin, this has been most pleasant.
I enjoyed your story so much, Judge. You must tell me more sometime.
Yeah.
Well, one has many amusing experiences in the law. I remember one particular case involving litigation over a dog.
Another time, Judge.
Oh, quite so. Good night, Miss Goodwin.
Good night, Judge Hooker.
Good night, Judge.
Good night. Oh, Gildy.
What is it, Judge?
Did I tell you that Leila Ransom is arriving tomorrow?
Yes, you did, several times. Now, good night.
Good night.
I'm sorry you haven't time to come in, Mr. Gildersleeve. Won't you at least sit down here on the porch for a moment?
Oh, thank you. Just for a moment.
You know, I envy you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Me? Why would anybody envy me?
I envy you your career. If I were a man, I can't think of anything that would be more exciting and more rewarding than a career of public service.
Well, mine isn't much of a career, just water commissioner.
Oh, but...
Of course, the department did operate at a profit last year for the first time.
Yes, and that's only the beginning. It's only a stepping stone.
Oh, you think so?
I'm sure of it. Why, just think, already you're a member of the school board. That's quite an honor, you know.
Yeah, going to have to be some changes there, too.
Last year, the water department. This year, the school board. Next year? Who knows? With the right guidance and encouragement, there's no telling how far you might go.
Miss Goodwin.
Yes, Mr. Gildersleeve.
You're a woman. You've been around. You've had experience.
Let's just say that I'm a woman.
Well, I'd like to ask your advice. Do you feel that marriage helps a man's career or hinders it?
Oh, I think it's a great help to it, definitely. After all, nearly every great man in history has had a woman behind him.
Well, I was asking this advice on behalf of a friend.
Oh, this is a friend.
Yes, a friend. Well, I've known him for quite a long time, too. He happens to be in public office, too, only in another town.
I see. Not married.
No, that's the point. He happens to be about my age, and he lives alone with his niece and nephew. He was wondering whether he ought to get married.
You mean he's met someone?
Oh, yes. He's taken quite a fancy to a certain young lady who moved to this town he lives in.
Oh. Well, tell me, what is she like?
Well, she's,
Is she attractive?
Uh-huh.
You know, she interests me, this, friend of your friend's. Tell me more about her.
Well, she's young, and not too young, but just about right.
Yes, go on.
The only thing is, she happens to be a widow.
Oh.
Yes, they were very close there for a while, as I understand it. But then she left town. Now she's coming back, and the question is, well, should he or shouldn't he?
Mr. Gildersleeve, I wonder if your friend has ever read a book called Of Human Bondage.
Well, he's a pretty busy fellow. I don't think he gets time to do much reading.
You recall it yourself, though, of course.
Oh, yes, fine book.
And so true to life.
Yeah, I must read it again. But about my
You remember it was the story of a man, a really splendid man, who fell in love with a girl who was beneath him, and how she dragged him down and ruined his career.
Say, didn't they make a movie of it?
Oh, yes, with Betty Davis.
Come to think of it, my friend saw it.
Then you might just remind him of it.
I'll do that.
What he should ask himself is, can this woman really give him the things he wants in a wife? Is she fitted intellectually to be a suitable partner to him as he goes on to higher things?
Well, I don't know that she's so much on intellect, but then my friend is very broad-minded.
Nevertheless, I think he might be wise to keep their relationship on a platonic basis for a while.
Platonic? Yes, he hasn't tried that.
Yes, at least until he's sure. Of course, I'm speaking only as a woman, but you asked my opinion, and there it is.
Miss Goodwin, I'll do that. I'll tell my friend they ought to be more platonic. That might solve a lot of things.
Yes. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have a rather early day tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I've kept you too late. I don't know how to thank you. And my friend doesn't know how to thank you either.
Not at all, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Miss Goodwin, before I go.
Yes?
I'll tell you a secret if you won't tell anybody.
A secret?
Yes. I haven't any friend. The friend is me.
Why, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, good night.
Hi, Bertie. He's out. Coming right up.
Well, good morning, all.
Hi, Unc.
I'm well, thank you, Leroy. And you?
Get him.
Your usual self, I see. Marjorie, have you got a kiss for your old uncle this fine and glorious morning?
Of course I have. Look at your cheek. Oh, here, let me wipe it off.
Marjorie, I've spoken to you about that.
Oh, but Uncle Darling, all the kids use lipstick.
I know I don't expect to be obeyed, but I do think you might ration yourself a little.
That's nothing. You ought to see Wally Hoff after they've been to the movies together. It looks like he's got scarlet fever.
Leroy, that's not true.
Oh, yeah, look at her blush.
You made that up.
Now, Leroy.
You just made that up to be funny.
Now, children, let's not start the day with any arguments. It's a fine morning, and besides, I have some good news for you.
Anyway, I wouldn't kiss Wally Hoff if he were the last man on earth.
Oh, yeah? Then what are you always hanging around with him for?
If you two would listen a moment.
Because I happen to like the way he plays piano. Is there anything wrong with that?
A likely story.
Can a man and woman just be friends, for goodness sake?
Of course they can. Leroy, eat your prunes.
I ate them.
Then eat something else. And stop teasing your sister. she says her friendship with Wally is platonic, I, for one, am prepared to take her word for it.
Thank you, Uncle Mort.
Platonic? What's that?
Platonic? Well, it comes from the Greek word, Well, there was this old Greek named Plato. A historian, wasn't he, Marjorie?
Philosopher.
Well, a philosopher, too. Anyway, he was a great authority on Greek. So that's where we get the word platonic.
Oh, yeah. Well, what does it mean?
Well, it means when a man and a woman are friends. That is, it means, what would you say it means, Marjorie?
Well, it means...
It means no monkey business. Now eat your breakfast.
Good morning, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Good morning, Bertie. You can take this dish if you want. I'm through.
Yes, sir. Here's a bill, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Bill? What's this?
The cleaner. He finally brought your pants back.
What pants?
The ones you spilled the tomato surprise on the lap of.
Oh, well, it's about time. By the way, Bertie, no more paper plates.
No, sir.
Picnic or no picnic, you understand?
I ain't bought a one, Mr. Gildersleeve, not since the tomato surprise.
Good.
Not me, not anymore, not after you told me, no, sir.
Good.
Picnic or no picnic, I ain't buying no paper plates, and that's fine.
Bertie, another thing, tell the cleaner to submit his bills monthly hereafter.
Monthly?
Yes, tell him I expect to be a very busy man from now on. I don't want to be pestered with a lot of odds and ends of bills. Just send me one a month. Yeah. You understand?
Yes, sir. But, Mr. Gildersleeve...
Yes, Bertie?
The man's waiting out there for his money.
Let him wait. I waited 3 weeks for my pants.
Why do you expect to be so busy, Uncle Mort?
Well, it might just possibly interest you children to know that your uncle was elected to the school board last night.
You were? Leroy, did you hear that? Uncle Mort's been elected to the school board. Isn't that wonderful?
How much does it pay?
Leroy, it doesn't pay anything. The position is purely honorary.
You mean you don't do anything?
Of course we do things. We do a great deal.
What?
Well, we meet from time to time.
How often?
As often as necessary.
What do you do?
Well, how do I know? We pass on things. We make suggestions. As a matter of fact, I believe we even hire the teachers.
Can you fire them, too?
Leroy, I know what you're thinking, and it won't work.
I'm not thinking anything, Unc.
There'll be no special favors for you. You'll work just as hard as anybody, young man, and even harder. Have you done your homework for today?
Yes.
Have you practiced your music?
Bertie was dusting the piano.
Well, go practice.
Okay.
From now on, we're going to have things done on the dot around here. I'm not going to have time for any more nonsense. If I have to listen to much more of that.
I'll go, Unc. It's the postman.
Let Bertie go. You stick to your lessons. See if you can improve a little.
I'm doing all right.
You're just barely holding your own.
Anything for me, Bertie?
No, just a letter for your uncle.
Just put it on the table, Bertie.
My goodness, the postmark's from Savannah, Georgia.
Uh-oh.
Well, who do I know in Savannah, Georgia?
I wonder.
Mr. Gildersleeve, didn't Miss Ransom come from Savannah, Georgia?
That I couldn't say, Bertie. Just leave it there, will you?
Yes, sir.
If it's from her, I won't read it.
You'd like me to open it and find out?
No. Because it's from her, I'm just not interested, that's all. I've made up my mind that from now on, everything between us is going to be strictly platonic. Strictly.
I think you're right. Maybe the best thing to do is burn it.
No, hold on, my dear. It might not be from her, either. Come to think of it, I believe there was a classmate of mine in college who used to come from Savannah. Yes. Smith, his name was, or something like that. Yeah, Smith. George Smith. Butch, we used to call it. Yeah. Might be from Butch. Give it here, my dear. Just as I thought, Butch. Let's see what he says.
My darling Throckmorton, just a line to say that I'm coming back to Summerfield. I may even get there before this does.
What does he say?
Says he may be coming to town one of these days.
Oh, really?
Let's see. He goes on here.
I don't suppose you can ever really forgive poor Leila for what she has done to you. I don't ask that. All I ask is that if we should chance to meet anywhere, you give me your hand and believe that I am, as ever, your friend, Leila.
Good old Butch. By George, I'll be glad to see him again.
The Great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few seconds. Here's a $64 question that many families have been asking lately. What's parquet margarine made of to make it taste so good? Well, that's a natural question, because Parquet is winning new friends everywhere as a flavorful, nutritious spread for America's bread. So here's the answer to those questions. Parquet margarine is made by Kraft, is made to the same high standards of quality as are all Kraft products. Parquet is made from top-quality ingredients, including highly refined vegetable oil and other products of American farms. Is made in modern plants as spick and span as a model kitchen. Parquet is delicious and appetizing. It's one of the best energy foods you can serve, an important aid to good family nutrition. And Parquet contains important vitamin A. Yes, there's 9,000 units of vitamin A in every single pound. Parquet is a quality margarine that bears the seal of acceptance of the Council on Foods and Nutrition of the American Medical Association. So serve your family this delicious quality spread for bread at every meal. Ask for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's get back to the Great Gildersleeve. He hasn't been able to get his mind on his work today for some reason, possibly because of a sleepless night spent tossing from pillow to pillow and post to post. Determined not to lie awake again tonight, he drops in at Peavy's drugstore in mid-afternoon.
Well, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Why don't you put a stopper on that door, Peavy, so it won't bang?
You must be a little on edge. You never noticed it before.
How long has it been that way?
Every summer for 23 years. Yes, sir. 1920 was the year I bought that screen door.
Never mind, Peavy.
Before that, I just had flypaper.
Let it go. Have you got a good, reliable sleeping powder?
Insomnia?
No, I want it for a hangnail.
Well, now, I had one customer who used to take sleeping powders because he liked the taste, but he overdid it.
Did it kill him?
No, but he became quite a somnambulist. So let's not rush into this.
Peavy, I'll bet you never rushed in anything in your whole life.
Well, now, I wouldn't say that. I've done some pretty hasty things in my time.
Oh, you have?
Yes, to mention only one, there's Mrs. Peavy. The minute I laid eyes on her, at that time she was Miss Horsefall, the minute I laid eyes on her, I said to myself, there's the girl I'm going to marry.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Of course, I didn't ask her till 5 years later.
Peavy.
About the sleeping powders, Mr. Gildersleeve. Maybe a simple home remedy would be just as effective. Have you tried hot milk?
I want something stronger. I can't stand another night like last night.
Have you had a number of them, or was this the first?
This was the first, but I wanted to be the last.
The reason I ask is a lot of insomnia is in the mind, Mr. Gildersleeve. Anything been worrying you?
No.
You're not nervous about anything?
No.
You haven't had any bad news lately?
No. Peavy, I came here for a sedative. If I want to be psychoanalyzed, I'll go to a chiropractor.
No offense. You see, sometimes...
Wait a minute, Peavy. Quiet. Didn't I hear a train?
Oh, the 419, I guess. Yeah, right on time.
419? Oh, I've got to go.
Expecting someone on it?
No, that is not exactly. I just like trains.
What do you do? Go down to the station and wave at them?
I'm not going to the station, Peavy. I'm going home.
Well, you won't find the train there.
So I know.
That you, Marge?
No, it's me.
Oh.
Leroy, is there no other room in this house where you can practice?
Well, if you'd like to move the piano upstairs.
All right.
Well, you want me to practice, don't you?
I suppose so.
What are you looking at, Unc? Something going on next door?
No, nothing at all.
Then what are you staring out the window for? You watching for somebody?
You just watch your little music. So...
Unc, walking up and down.
That piece would make anybody nervous. Why don't you learn to play something good? Something by Bach or Beethoven. Who wrote that anyway?
Bach.
Must have been one of his bad days, then.
What do you want, Unc? Something more like this?
Leroy. That'll conclude your piano lesson for today, young man. Now, leave me alone, will you? I'm going to try to get a little nap here on the couch before dinner.
Okay, Unc. Sweet dreams. Hey,
What?
there's a taxi pulling up. No, it's stopping next door. Hey, you better come and look, Unc.
What goes on next door does not concern me in the least, Leroy. Besides, I've told you time and again it's distinctly bad manners to pry into other people's business. What do you see?
Somebody's getting out. Hey, it's the old ghost.
You mean it's Judge Hooker. Is there anybody with him?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Leroy, I asked you a question.
It's her, Unc. It's Mrs. Ransom.
Oh, that's all. Mrs. Ransom, huh? How does she look?
They're going up the walk now. She's holding on to the judge's arm.
Leroy, how does she look?
I don't know. Why don't you come here and take a look for yourself?
What do you think I am, a peeping Tom? Anyway, it's nothing to me.
You better hurry. They're going inside.
Where?
Oh, you missed her.
Why didn't you get out of the way?
Well, gosh, you don't have to knock me down.
All right, if you can't keep your eyes open, make room for somebody who can. I can't stand this. What the devil is Hooker doing over there so long?
Did you say something, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Just talking to myself, Bertie. I'm going out for a minute.
Well, Mr. Gildersleeve, supper's almost ready.
Don't worry, I'll be back for supper.
It'll be ready in 5 minutes.
I'll be back in less than that.
Uh-huh.
I will, too. I've just come to a quick understanding with Leila. Get the things settled once and for all. And maybe I can get a night's sleep. Get everything straight right at the start.
Well, hello, Gildy.
What's the idea of hanging around here, Hooker? Don't you know when to go home?
I think I do. I've seen no evidence that Mrs. Ransom is bored with my company.
Where is she?
She's going upstairs to get some papers for me. Well, you might as well come in.
Don't worry, I'm coming in all right. What have you been up to all this time anyway?
Well, we had a lot of things to talk about.
What, for instance?
What do you care?
I don't. All I want is an understanding with Leila. From now on, she and I are going to be on a strictly platonic basis. I want to make that plain to her.
Oh.
How is she, Horace?
As beautiful as ever.
Oh. What's she going to do? What are her plans?
She's going to stay here. Live here.
Hooker, did she say anything about me?
Not that I remember.
She must have said something.
No? Oh, yes. She asked if you'd been lonesome during the summer.
What did you say? Did you say anything about Miss... What's her name?
Miss Goodwin? What would you care if you and Leila are going to be so platonic?
Oh. Wouldn't want to make her feel bad, you old goat. If you...
Oh. Here she comes.
Oh. Throckmorton, it's so nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Leila?
Can't we all sit down?
Yeah, why not?
I thought you were going, Judge, as soon as you got the papers.
No hurry, no hurry. Yeah, like old home week, huh, Leila?
Yes, Horace. Here are the papers.
Thank you.
You're looking well, Leila.
Oh, not really. But you're looking well, Throckmorton.
Feel pretty well. Rocking chair still squeaks, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, guess I better be running along.
Oh,
Must you, Horace?
Well...
Yes, I'm afraid he must. Goodbye, Judge.
Goodbye. I'll call you tomorrow, Leila.
Oh, thank you. You've been a good friend to me in my time of trouble, Horace.
You can count on me. Bye, Gildy.
Goodbye.
Good night, Horace.
Good night, gracious lady. I kiss your hand, madame.
Go home, Hooker.
Well?
Well, here we are.
Everything's so changed, isn't it?
You look different, Leila.
Do I?
Well, I guess it's the black dress.
I'm in mourning, Throckmorton.
It's true, then. Beauregard is...
Yes.
Positively?
I buried him, Throckmorton. He was a fine man.
I'm sure he was. Leila, I wanted to say something about our...
Oh, Throckmorton, you have no idea how Beauregard had changed. He was a different man, I declare he was.
Well, how do you mean?
He came back because he needed me. He never needed me before.
Oh.
And all these last few months before he...
Yes.
He was so sweet and sympathetic and thoughtful. He was wonderful.
Yes. Well, about us, Leila, I just wanted to say...
I always told you Beauregard was a gentleman, Throckmorton.
Yes, Leila, you always did. Where did you live all summer?
On my family's place down south. It's just a plantation.
Was Beauregard practicing law down there?
Oh, mercy, no. He wasn't doing anything. Nothing but just be sweet to me.
Did he have any money?
Oh, no. Beauregard never had a penny, the poor lion. But he was such a handsome man. Didn't you think he was handsome, Throckmorton?
I thought he looked like a gigolo.
Well...
And I was right, living off your family.
Throckmorton, I will not have you talk that way about Beauregard.
But, Leila...
No one ever understood poor Beauregard but me. No one.
Now, Leila, I didn't mean...
I knew the real Beauregard. No one else did.
He must have been a fine man, or you wouldn't have married him, Leila.
Oh, he was. He truly was.
There, Leila. Here, take my handkerchief.
Oh, thank you, darling. You're the only man in the world as thoughtful as Beauregard was.
Oh, I'm not thoughtful.
Oh, yes, you are. You're sweet.
Leila, I want to get things settled between us.
Oh, please, Throckmorton, if you knew what I've been through. Such a tragedy for poor Beauregard, a man who was so fond of animals.
What are you talking about, Leila?
Why, if he ever saw anyone mistreating a dog or a horse or a cat, he was furious. That's what made it so sad.
What, Leila?
Beauregard's passing.
Well, how did he go, Leila?
He was kicked in the head by a mule.
Well, we never know where it's going to come from, do we?
No. Just 5 weeks ago today.
Oh, you poor girl. There. Have a good cry on Throckmorton's shoulder.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So are you.
What was it you've been trying to tell me, Throckmorton?
Tell you? Well, what I was going to say, Leila, was that, I think maybe you and I should have a more platonic relationship.
What, Throckmorton?
A platonic relationship.
Oh, Throckmorton, 5 weeks is too soon for us to be thinking about things like that.
But, Leila...
Good night, Throckmorton. Calling B9. Listen, you better bring back that thing you borrowed. No, you get it back here tonight. Listen, don't you get tough with me. My uncle's on the school board now, and he can get you suspended.
Leroy!
Oh, hi, Unc. Wait a minute, Pig.
Young man, I'll not have you using my position to bully your friends.
Oh, I'm not bullying him, Unc. I'm trying to get him to bring back something.
What?
Something he borrowed.
What did he borrow, Leroy?
Your electric drill.
My electric drill? You tell him to get it back here in 5 minutes, or I'll have him expelled. Good night, everybody.
Music heard on this program was under the direction of Claude Sweeten. This is Ken Carpenter speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company, inviting you to listen again next Sunday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
This year, thousands of women all over the country are discovering what a special help with wartime meals is the product called Kraft Dinner. A box of Kraft Dinner gives them a delicious macaroni and cheese for 4 people at only a few cents a serving. They get 2 boxes of Kraft Dinner for only 1 single ration point. And with Kraft Dinner, they cook that delicious main dish in just 7 minutes. In every Kraft Dinner box, there's a special macaroni that cooks fluffy tender in boiling water and an envelope of Kraft Grated. With this handy Kraft Grated, you whisk cheese goodness through and through the fluffy macaroni in a jiffy. A very smart trick is to shape the hot Kraft Dinner in a ring mold for a minute or two, unmold on a platter, and serve with creamed vegetables or fish or a little meat. But just as is, Kraft Dinner gives you a mighty fine main dish. Try this 7-minute macaroni and cheese soon. At your food store, be on the alert for point-saving Kraft Dinner. This program reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Chicago, WMAQ. Women, the wax needs you now. For information, go to room 601, 166 West Van Buren Street. Don't delay. Do your share for victory.
So traveling fast. I got plenty of gas. Man, you might as well stop because you're blowing your top. Yes, nothing but propaganda. If you hear that I'm tough and I'm stealing your stuff, like those jokes off the cuff. Propaganda. If I tell a few gags about Uncle Bing's nags and the program still drags.
Have you ever had this experience? You're sitting in someone's living room and you suddenly notice how beautiful the finish is on a certain table. It has a soft, satiny luster, free from dust and fingerprints, and the grain of the wood itself is clear and lovely. You ask your hostess the reason for this beautiful finish, and she tells you that for years that table has been waxed regularly with Johnson's wax. It has had no other treatment, no other care. It might have been Johnson's paste or liquid wax or the cream wax, especially developed for furniture and woodwork. The point is, regular waxing and polishing has made that piece of furniture more beautiful with the years. It has guarded its finish against stains and minor scratches, made dusting and cleaning very easy. When you apply a coat of Johnson's wax to floors, furniture, and woodwork, you're giving them a shield of protection. The wax takes the wear. The finish underneath is guarded. It's a good idea to have Johnson's wax on hand to help take care of the things you can't replace. Physicians don't have much time for social chit-chat or coffee clutching these days. So as Dr. Gamble parks his car in the driveway and approaches the door at 79 Wistful Vista, there is considerable speculation between Fibber McGee and Molly.
I tell you, I did pay his bill, Molly.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. I sent him a check just yesterday with a little note saying, thanks for all your kindnesses, and please don't cash this check till Friday.
Heavenly days, doesn't he look tired? It's a good thing we have a doorbell. He doesn't look like he had the strength to use a knocker.
Yeah. I'll take him upstairs to the full-length mirror. That guy needs to consult himself.
Come in.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hello, Doctor.
Hi, Doc, old man. Park your pink pillows on the piano and plunk the pelvis into a pile of pillows, kid.
Well, I'd love to, McGee, but I can't stay.
Oh.
Just stopped in to ask you folks a favor.
Well, ask us anything, Doctor. Heavenly days, you look all worn out.
Oh, I am worn out. I feel like something a not very discriminating cat had dragged in.
Oh.
Last night I found myself looking at a patient's watch and taking my own pulse. When I delivered a baby this morning, I told the infant to stay on duty all day and spanked my intern. I gotta take a day off or I'll fall apart like a wet donut.
Well, that's the old spirit, Doc. Get away from it all. Take a day or two and go fishing. I'll go with you.
Oh, no, you won't, dearie. The doctor needs to get away by himself. Can't I brew you a slug of tea, Doctor?
Well, no, thank you, my dear. I just wanted to ask you if you mind my leaving my car in your garage for a day. Haven't enough gas for a trip, and if I leave it in my own garage, people will think I'm at home and keep ringing my bell.
Why, sure, Doc. Leave it here. I'll run it into the garage and shut the door. Hey, I got some swell trout flies you can have.
I'm not going to fish, McGee.
Oh.
Fish remind me too much of people. Cold-blooded, expressionless, horrible appetites, and think they're big stuff when they wave a fin in your face. Thanks very much, folks.
What do you know about that? He proves what I always said, Molly. The higher the education, the lower opinion you have of people.
Oh, no, he just talks like that. You know, he does more charity work than any doctor in town.
Trouble with him is he graduated from Rush and hasn't slowed down since. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wash his car for him. Where's the big sponge?
Why, don't you remember you cut it all to pieces when you were inventing that new life preserver? You stuffed it full of sponges.
Oh, yeah. Didn't work out so good for some reason.
The doctor's car doesn't need washing anyway. It looks nice.
Well, I got to do something for the poor guy. I may tune up the motor. Oh, hey, I know. I'm going to switch his tires.
Well, all right, if it'll make you feel any better. I'll go out and cut a switch, huh?
No. You don't understand, Molly. I'm going to crisscross them. Change them around from one wheel to another.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You change them around so they'll all wear out at the same time.
That's it.
Instead of needing one new tire, you'll be flat on your rims.
Well, that ain't exactly...
Hello there, kids. Got company?
No, Mr. Oldtimer, that's Dr. Gamble's car in the driveway. He left it here for a day or so.
He's going away for a rest, old-timer. Sure needs it, too. Looks like he'd been drugged through a knothole.
I know exactly how it is, kids.
Yep.
As one cannibal says to another cannibal, you can sure get fed up with people. Yes, sir. Fluffed it right off. Always kind of like to be by myself.
Me, too. Sometimes I feel like I wanted to go up in the mountains and live in a cave like a hornet.
No, you mean hermit theory.
I do not. A hermit is an iron hat.
That's a derby.
No, that's a helmet.
Go on. A helmet is a swing that you'll break your neck if you swat a fly while you're in it is.
You're thinking of a hummock, Johnny.
No, he isn't. He means hammock. A hummock is a little mound of earth.
That's what I says. I want to go up in the mountains and live in a little mound of earth.
Don't blame you, Johnny. Too many people in the world. I used to have a little ranch in Wyoming, but I gave it up. Folks pestered me too much.
All day long, you mean?
Well, not exactly, daughter, but it was more than I could stand. Had the ranch from 1901 till 1914. It was fairly peaceable. Then in the summer of 1915, a fellow wandered in, lost his way, stayed 2 days.
Oh.
Then in 1916... a couple of cowboys rode within half a mile of my ranch house and waved to me. That settled it for me. I got out of there. No elbow room. I hate crowds.
Say, have you and your girlfriend made up yet?
You and Bessie?
Nope. But I got my eye on a new gal, kid.
Oh.
Librarian at the library. Cuter as a bug's ear. Cuter. Never seen a bug's ear to compare with Piggy.
Who?
Piggy.
You mean Peggy.
I mean Piggy. Walked home with her the other night, and she kept saying, we ought to go to a movie. We ought to go someplace and eat. We ought to do this. We ought to do that. And that's why I call her Piggy. It was we all the way home.
Well, there's the 2 front tires off, Molly. Good thing I'm changing them, too. Look at that tread. They're thinner than Hitler's chances of a ripe old age.
They do look a little weary, don't they?
Betcha.
What do you do now?
I'll put these on the back wheels and take the ones off the back wheels and put them on the front wheels. Very simple.
Now, how do you get the back end raised up?
Take the jack out from under the front end and... Oh, I need another jack, don't I?
You know, it's times like this that I'm proudest of you, McGee.
Huh?
The way your flashing intelligence leaps to a brilliant conclusion rocks me right back on my house crest.
Well, gee whiz, I got it. Look, all I got to do is let the front end down, take the jack out, and... Oh, that won't work.
You held out a jack when you turned our car in. Why didn't you use that?
Can't. I'm using that to hold the cellar window open.
Well, you can close the cellar window a few minutes. We're not fumigating.
There must be a simpler way than that. Oh, I know. I'll just slip a box under the front end and let the car down on that. Here's one right here that ought to do the trick.
Now, don't you think, McGee, that maybe you ought to...
There. Just the right height, too. You see what I mean, Molly? There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. Now I just yank the jack out from under the...
Oh, dear.
Right. Well,
Now show me the right way.
Oh, my gosh, I thought those corrugated cardboard boxes were stronger than that. Any damage on your side?
Not a bit, except the front axle is bent a little. Does that do any harm?
Nah, it might make it steer a little crooked is all. But... Doc don't drive fast anyway. Where's all that oil coming from?
There's a big crack in the crankcase, McGee.
Crack in the crankcase? Boy, it's a good thing we discovered that. Probably saved Doc a big repair bill.
Well, what do we do now, Mr. Chrysler?
Well, I'll have to put the jack back under the front and... Can't get it under now. It's too low.
Why don't you put it under the bumper?
Huh? Under the bumper? Oh, yeah. I was just going to do that. There's always a way if you just use your brain.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. That's good. Bumper broke off.
You know, it's a good thing Dr. Gamble is an obstetrician. I never could say that. Just think of those lucky bouncing babies having a bouncing doctor coming to see them on a pogo stick.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with this car that can't be fixed. Now, let me see. How can I raise the front end again?
Well, take out one of the inner tubes and let the air out and slide it under the axle and pump it up again.
Oh, wonderful. Now, let me see. If I use...
Hiya, folks. Hey, you got a new car?
Hello, Mr. Wilcox. No, this is Dr. Gamble's car.
We're taking care of it for him.
Well, wouldn't it be easier to take care of if you left it in one piece?
Well, McGee's switching the tires for the doctor, Mr. Wilcox, just as a favor.
Yeah, take a gander at those casings, Junior. Not enough rubber on them to make a girdle for a gremlin.
Oh, that one there looks all right.
Yeah, but look at this one. One little kick like this and...
Dear Mr. Jeffers, we are writing you today because a situation has arose.
Well, doggone it, I'm glad it blew up. Might have saved Doc a nasty accident.
Well, that's about all you've saved him, pal.
Better start patching that tire, McGee.
Can't. I haven't got any tire tools.
Oh, Doc's got some. Keeps him in the back seat.
Stick your head in the window and see, dearie.
Okay. Dad rat. Nobody's got any right to have their car windows as clean as that. I thought it was open.
Well, you know how doctors are about cleanliness, pal. Did you ever notice his office? Always slick and clean as a whistle.
Oh.
And you know why?
No. Why, Mr. Wilson? Why, inquired the handsome little chap in the gray suit with eagerness in his face and murder in his heart.
Well, because he uses Johnson's wax on everything, that's why.
Oh, that's why.
He knows that when his floors and furniture and windowsills and lampshades are wax protected against dust and dampness, it saves his office girl hours of cleaning time. To say nothing of the good impression it makes on his patients to have everything so shiny, so gleaming with cleanliness.
Oh, his office does look nice, Mr. Wilcox.
So what if it does? You don't have to go to college 8 years to learn about Johnson's wax. Any dumbbell knows it's the best there is. Even I know that.
Well, there's another thing, too. It costs a lot of dough to equip a doctor's office.
Oh.
So the smart ones, like Doc Gamble, protect and preserve their equipment with Johnson's wax.
Mm-hmm.
Why, whenever I...
Well, what's the joke, Mr. Wilcox?
Joke?
Yeah. What's so funny?
Oh, nothing. I'm spoiled, I guess. I always like to leave on a laugh. See you later, folks.
Dear, dear, what a ham. You know, McGee, I think that's why Mr. Wilcox is such a successful salesman. He laughs at everything.
Yeah. You know what his slogan is? Prosperity is just around the corn.
Look who's talking.
Well, I got to get busy here. Wish I had the jack out of that cellar window.
You know, something tells me that what we're really going to need is pure peasant strength. You better get some help.
Well, who'd I get? Just grab some passerby that... Hey, there's a sailor going past. Maybe he'd help. Hey, sailor!
Oh, McGee, now you shouldn't do... Well, heavenly days, McGee, look who it is.
Well, I'll be ya. La Trivia!
Hello, McGee. Hello, Mrs. McGee. Nice to see you.
My goodness, it's nice to see you, Mr. La Trivia. And you look so lovely in your sailor suit.
Yeah, you're looking swell, La Trivia, old man. Oh, except...
Except what, McGee?
Except you've filled out kind of funny. Look how his suit fits, Molly. He's gained around the waist and lost around the ankles.
Oh, don't be silly, McGee. All Navy uniforms fit that way.
Oh.
You look like the Coast Guard has treated you all right, Mr. Mayor.
Not mayor anymore, Mrs. McGee. Just Coast Guardsman Trivia now. I'm a first-class seaman.
I'll bet you are at that.
In town just for the day, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Coast Guard, just for the day, huh?
No, I'm on 10 days' leave, Mrs. McGee. I secured my gear, battened down the fiddly hatches, shut off the scuttlebutt, got an okay from the CO, stowed my hammock, and came ashore for a land cruise.
Ha, La Trivia, you're so salty you make me thirsty. How about coming in the house for a hook or a root beer?
Pipe me aboard, mate.
Oh, listen to him, will you? I just love sailors. You know, when I was a girl, I adored to read about our first American admiral, John Charles Thomas.
That was John Paul Jones, Mrs. McGee.
Ah, what's the difference? They both earned their wheat cakes on the high seas. Get it, kid? High seas? It's sort of a fun.
It ain't funny, McGee.
That's strange. I was vastly amused by it. I always... What's the matter, Trivia?
I was just looking at your car, McGee. Anybody hurt in the wreck?
Well, it isn't our car. It's Dr. Gamble's car.
I'm changing the tires around for him, Latriv. A couple of things went a little haywire.
So I see. The upholstery is still in pretty good shape?
Oh, yeah.
Or haven't you gotten around to that yet?
Now, look here, Latrivia. It's all very well for you to stand there pointing your finger at me like a recruiting poster.
Oh,
but
McGee.
Huh?
Don't talk so much and get to work. I'll go and make you boys some lemonade. It's going to be a pretty hot afternoon before
McGee, how did Dr. Gamble ever get this car over here in this shape?
Well, it wasn't exactly in this shape, Latrivia. I bent the axle when the front end fell down. Cracked the crankcase at the same time. Stuck my head through the window looking for tire tools. And that tire blew out when I was showing Wilcox how bad the rubber was. And all I done was give it a little kick like this. Tire blew out.
Yes, I see.
That's what always happens when you try to do somebody a good turn, Latrivia. I swear if I ever...
Hi, mister.
Oh, hi, sis. Now, I haven't got time to talk to you now. Go away and come back some other time. Say about September 1954.
Hello, little girl. Remember me?
No, but gee, me, I'd like to.
Oh, you remember this man, sis. Used to be mayor of Wistful Vista. Mayor Latrivia.
Gee, he's beautiful. Are you an admiral, mister? Are you?
No, honey. I'm a Coast Guardsman. Just a sailor.
What do you mean, just a sailor? I think sailors are wonderful. You know any girls in town, mister?
Well,
On account, if you don't know any girls here, sailor, well, well, gee, maybe you and me could...
Now, look, sis, now, look. We're pretty busy here, so
well,
you just...
It just happens, mister, that I was on my way to the drugstore to get a soda. Anyway, I would have been if I had a dime, so maybe...
Well, come to think of it, I wanted a soda myself. Would you give me the pleasure of your company to the drugstore, madam?
Give you the pleasure? Oh, brother.
Well, I guess I'll go along, too. A soda would just be...
No, you stay here, Mr. McGee. Gee, don't you know when people want to be alone together, don't you, Come on, sailor, let's shove off.
Aye, ma'am. I'll be back in a little while, McGee. So
Hey, mister, let's get going quick now. Here comes Willie Toops. Take a hold of my arm. Come on.
Oh, the boyfriend. Come on. So long, McGee.
Hey, doggone it, don't I even
Sailing over the bounding main. Hey, Willie, look, the fleet's in.
And the man with the big sombrero.
You have heard of the gay caballero who'd love 'em and then leave 'em flat. But I know a gay caballero whose technique is smoother than that. The man with the big sombrero lives down in Mexico. He's got a hat as big as that, a wonderful chapeau. The man with the big sombrero is strictly on the beam. And every fair muchacha there is crazy after him. For when it rains, when it pours, they get under his big wonderful sombrero. When it's hot, out of doors, every lady loves the shady caballero. They all come around the market to gather round his cart. They push and shove for making love with him. He's such an art. This man with a big sombrero, no bigger than his heart. 30 days, hacienda, April, June, and sombrero. And my brother, he's got 32. So into jail he goes for punching in the nose. The man with a big sombrero who lives in Mexico, he's got a nose just like a rose beneath his big chapeau. The man with a big sombrero, he's not so very smart. He stole the senorita who had stolen my brother's heart. But when it rains, when it pours, they give honor his big wonderful sombrero. When it's hot, out of doors, every lady loves the shady caballero. They all come around the market in all their pretty clothes. They're always there most everywhere this caballero goes. This man with a big sombrero, no bigger than his great big nose.
Well, if this don't work, I don't know what will. 1, 2, 3, Oh, if I don't have the dirtiest luck of anybody. Oh, hi, Latrivia. You back already?
Yes, the excitement of 3 sodas in succession was a little too much. Well, what's been going on here?
Ain't it a mess? I rigged up a block and tackle to the limb of the tree there and fastened a rope to one of the headlights and tried to raise the front of the car. And what happens? The tree breaks. The rope busts, the headlight comes off, and I fall smack on my clavicle.
You ought to have a job in the Navy Yard at Wilhelmshaven.
Huh?
You'd have the German fleet wrecked in 24 hours.
Doggone it, if I had realized Doc's car was put together with thumbtacks and tomato juice, I'd have... Oh, here comes Wimple. Oh, hi, Wally, old man.
Hello there, Wimple. Nice to see you again. How's Mrs. Wimple?
Oh, Sweetie Face is just fine, Mr. Latrivia. Did you know, Mr. McGee, we're having a blessed event at our house next week?
No. Really, Wimple?
Yes, indeed.
What?
Sweetie Face made her reservation yesterday.
Oh, at the hospital?
Oh, no, silly. On the railroad. She's going to Texas for 2 weeks. Isn't that the most blessed event you could think of?
So you're going to be a bachelor for a couple of weeks, Wimple, huh?
Yes. And you know what?
No.
I want all you fellows to come over to my house Thursday night for a game of dominoes. Strictly stag, of course. I sneaked out this afternoon and ordered a case of Orange Crush.
Well, I hope we don't get raided. How about you, Latrivia?
Oh, I'm just in the mood for a wild time. I'll bring the cubebs.
Yes. We'll make it an all-night affair.
Oh.
Till 11 or 11:30. What do we care? We only live once. Remember, fellows, Thursday night. See you then.
Now, that ought to be quite a fracas. I hope Wimp don't play with Mark Dominoes.
Well, I'm glad it isn't poker. Wimple would use matches for chips, and my mother doesn't like me to play with matches.
Look, Latrivia, let's see if we can't jack up the back end of Doc's car.
Too late, McGee.
Huh?
I said it's too late. Here comes Doc Gamble now.
Oh, my gosh. What'll he do when he sees what I've done to... Oh, Mama, he'll kill me. Remember, Latrivia, he hit me first.
Oh, now, take it easy. Nobody's hit anybody yet. Maybe he... Oh, hello there, Doc.
Well, Latrivia, nice to see you, my boy. You don't know what it means to me to see a completely healthy human being. I'm so used to seeing pasty faces, flabby muscles, and nerves that jingle, jang, and jingle that a normal body looks like a biological freak. Take off your shirt.
There you go again. Take off your shirt. I absolutely refuse.
I wasn't talking to you, McGee. I meant Latrivia.
Well, why, Doctor?
Well, I'd like to listen to one heart that doesn't sound like a Spike Jones jam session. I'd like to reassure myself that there's one human ventricle left in the world that doesn't open and shut like a miser's purse. Boy,
Hey, Doc.
Yeah?
You notice anything?
Yes, you've wrecked my car. Now, I tell you, Latrivia, my boy. Latrivia, you're a sight for sore eyes. I was getting to the point where the only place I could see a sound physique was reading Tarzan and Flash Gordon. Feeling fine, are you?
Splendid, Doctor. Never felt better. A great life. I'm as hard as a bride's biscuit.
Well, that's great. That's great. If everybody would only...
Hey, Doc.
Will you stop tugging at my sleeve, McGee? What do you want?
You ain't sore because I ruined your jalopy? Gee, I was only trying to...
Don't be silly. I'm delighted. If I haven't got a car, I can't see so many people. If people can't get a doctor, they'll simply have to take an aspirin and go to bed, which is what I'd tell them to do anyway.
I don't think the car is complete wreck, Doctor. You can probably save the radio.
That's a dubious blessing. Does it still work?
Oh, sure it works, Doc. Sure it does. Look. See?
With the all-out bombardment of Sicily by flying fortresses, Mitchell and Boston bombers, it would appear to your commentator that Sicily will be the next focal point of pre-invasion attack.
Well, did you hear what he said? Isn't that terrific?
Hey, now, we really got Sicily.
Here, what is it? What's all the cheering, boys?
Great news, Mrs. McGee.
We're going after Sicily, Molly.
Looks like we take it, Mrs. McGee.
What's so exciting about that?
Don't you understand, Mrs. McGee?
It's Sicily.
The first island we've hit yet that anybody could pronounce. Anybody can say Sicily.
You'll pardon me, I'm sure, if I paraphrase an old saying. Dirt may come and dirt may go, but a glow-coated floor goes on forever. At least practically forever if you use Johnson's Glow Coat regularly on your linoleum surfaces. Scrubbing linoleum is bad for it. You've heard me say that many times before. Linoleum manufacturers themselves and housekeeping authorities, too, recommend a polish like Glow Coat that gives protection to the linoleum and other floor surface, adds beauty, keeps colors fresh and new-looking. Johnson's Glow Coat is self-polishing, needs no rubbing or buffing. Therefore, you see, it saves two ways. Saves the linoleum, saves you time and work. And by the way, if you have floors of asphalt tile or rubber tile, remember that Glow Coat is the preferred polish for these floors, too.
Huh?
Do you realize that next week is our last broadcast for the summer?
My gosh, it is. Hey, let's do something big. Let's get a lot of guest stars. Let's get Clark Gable.
Clark Gable is in the Air Force.
Well, let's get Henry Fonda.
Fonda's in the Navy.
Well, let's get Tyrone Power.
Power's in the Marines.
Well, then we'll do it the hard way. We'll do it ourselves. Good night.
Good night, all.
characters of the old-timer and Wallace Wimple were played by Bill Thompson. This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax Finishes for the home and industry, inviting you all to join us again next Tuesday night. Good night. This program reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Chicago, WMAQ. Night.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. The Kraft Cheese Company will also bring you Bing Crosby every Thursday night. Present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Wheaton and Sam Moore. We'll hear from The Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. These next few days, many of you will be making plans for weekend Halloween parties. And if you're planning to serve sandwiches or perhaps waffles, muffins, or piping hot biscuits, here's a way to really please your guests. Serve your baking treats with delicious Parquet margarine. Spread your sandwiches with this quality margarine made by Kraft. Parquet has a pleasing aroma and a delicate flavor that is sure to delight your most critical guest. In fact, Parquet is winning new friends everywhere for the delicious flavor it adds to other fine foods. Parquet not only tastes good, it's nutritiously good for you, contains vitamin A, and each pound of Parquet provides 9,000 units of important vitamin A for good nutrition. Besides, Parquet is an excellent energy food. This grand-tasting, nutritious spread for America's bread requires only 4 ration points a pound. So delight your guests at Halloween. Please your family every day with delicious, nourishing Parquet. That's P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now, on to Summerfield and the Great Gildersleeve. It's been a long day. Things were busy at the water department, but it's over now, and the commissioner homeward plods his weary way. As he comes up the front walk, dusk is falling and the windows are aglow. Stepping over an upturned rake and kicking aside Leroy's roller skates, he enters the house and pauses to survey a pretty picture of contentment. Bertie is in the dining room setting the table. Leroy is sprawled in front of the fire gnawing an apple. On the couch lies Marjorie in a gentle swoon listening to the radio.
Happy little family.
Oh, what am I to do?
Leroy, you just spoiled
Can I be with you? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Leroy!
Friday, Saturday.
Leroy!
Oh, hi, Unc. When did you get home?
Turn off the radio, Marjorie. Leroy, haven't you anything better to do than tease your sister?
No. I mean, sure.
Then do it. Bertie, how long before dinner?
Well, it's any time now, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'm just waiting on the potatoes.
What are we having, Bertie?
Oh, something you like.
That's a little indefinite. I like a lot of things.
Don't worry, you're going to have a lot of things.
Well, it wouldn't be something with dump. Well, let it go. Leroy, I've told you not to play with fire. Why aren't you doing your homework?
Oh, gosh, Unc, it doesn't make any sense.
What doesn't?
The homework she gave us. I don't get it.
That's because you haven't tried. What's the assignment?
It's a composition. How my uncle earns his living. Isn't that silly?
Not at all, young man. I think that's a very good subject. I think every boy should know what it means to have to earn a living. Every girl, too, Marjorie.
What?
I say I think children ought to know the meaning of hard work. It might teach them a little respect for money.
Well, Uncle Mort, the only reason I went over my allowance...
Yes, I know. The same thing every week. Let me ask you something. Have you any idea what I have to do to earn our daily bread?
Well, I know you're water commissioner.
Yes, but have you any conception of what that means?
It means you get free water.
You get free nothing. Nothing in this world is free, young man. And the sooner you find out about it, the better. I'll tell you what I'll do. Tomorrow's Saturday. I'll give you both a treat. I'm going to take you down to the office with me and show you what goes on there. Then you can come home, Leroy, and write about it.
Oh, boy.
Huh? Yes, sir. I'll show you the whole thing from start to finish. I'll show you how a well-run waterworks should be conducted. I'll show you how we maintain service 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Sunday, Monday, and always. Hop out, Leroy. Well, it was nice of you to drive us down, Judge.
Glad to do it. I was coming anyway. Marjorie, allow me.
Thank you, Judge.
Now, this, of course, is the City Hall, children. I suppose you've been here before.
Only about 1,000,000 times.
Perhaps you'd like to show me around. Open the door for your sister.
What is she, helpless?
After you, Judge.
Oh, after you, Throckmorton.
No, you go ahead.
You first.
Well,
Make up your mind.
we'll make up yours.
Let's all go out and come in again.
Now, on this floor, we have various departments. There's the office of the school board.
I'd like to lay a bomb there.
Never mind. Department of Health, Department of Sanitation, and down at the end of the hall is where Judge Hooker has his chambers.
What goes on there?
Things you wouldn't believe.
Nothing to what goes on in the water department.
The water department, Judge, is a smoothly functioning, highly efficient organization, as I'm about to demonstrate to these children.
Mind if I join the tour?
Why?
Well, you make it sound so fascinating.
I don't know what your game is, Judge Hooker. Go ahead, Leroy.
Not very big, is it?
The size of a man's office, young man, does not indicate the importance of his position. Besides, this is only the outer office.
Your uncle's office is even smaller.
Yeah, thank you. Now, keep your eyes open, Leroy. You have to write about this, you know. First, the various members of the organization. My secretary sits there.
Where is she?
She must have stepped out. Then there's the meter reader. That's his desk.
Where's he?
Reading meters. And out at the pump house, there's Charlie Anderson, the engineer. Over here, children, we have the files. This is the water cooler, pencil sharpener, hat rack, wash basin, and so on.
Fascinating.
Oh, here she is. Children, I want you to meet my private secretary, her name's Bessie.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, am I ever glad to see you. This man has been calling up every 5 minutes. The worst nuisance.
What does he want?
I don't know. He wants to speak to you. I finally just told him, I said, Mr. Gildersleeve is a very busy man.
Quite right.
I said, if you have anything to say to Mr. Gildersleeve, you'll just have to write him a letter.
That was very good, Bessie.
Oh, but he was so mad, the things he said.
Probably some crank.
No, I think he was an Indian.
An Indian?
Yes. He called himself Chief Rosecrans.
Rosecrans? Rosecrans is the fire chief.
No wonder he was burned up.
Oh, my goodness. Get him on the phone. No, don't. What did he want?
I don't know, Mr. Gildersleeve. He just kept hollering at me about the water pressure.
What about the water pressure?
He said there wasn't any.
Oh, that Bessie. I'm going to have to let her. Marjorie, turn on the faucet there in the wash basin. Who says there's no water?
Well, it's no rushing torrent.
Well, what do you want? Something to splash all over you every time you turn it on?
Gildy, old man, do you remember how you got into this office?
What do you mean?
Remember when Clanahan was commissioner here?
Yes, and I'll match my record with his any day.
Do you remember how you started a petition against him because the pressure was always low?
That was different. There happens to be a war on now. Get out of here, you old rooster. Bessie, get me Charlie Anderson out at the pump house.
Yes, sir.
I don't know why I ever took this job. Always somebody finding fault.
Something wrong, Unc?
Oh, no, everything is peachy, Leroy.
Mr. Gildersleeve calling. Just a minute, please.
Here, give it to me. Hello, Charlie. This is Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh!
Gildersleeve? What's happened to the pressure?
Can't hear you.
I say this is Gildersleeve. What's happened to the pressure?
Oh, Dad busted. Speak up.
Well, stop hollering and listen.
I can't hear you. Where'd they turn off the pump?
Oh, wait a minute. Don't do that, Charlie. Whatever you do, don't turn off the pump. Now, you stay where you are. I'll be right out there. Oh, I've got to go. I got to get out to the reservoir.
But how will you get there? We didn't bring the car.
I'll use the judges. You got the key, Judge?
Well, wait a minute.
Thank you. Come on, Leroy.
Hey, what about my A tickets?
What about them? Charlie! Charlie Anderson.
I don't hear him.
Come on, he must be in the pump house, Leroy.
Boy, what a racket.
Hey, Uncle Charlie!
Well, what do you want?
Come up here, will you?
What's for? Can't you see I'm busy?
I want to talk to you for a minute.
Oh, all right, Dad. Busted. Talk. That's all anybody does around here. See, that's all anybody does. Some darn fool called me up a little while ago. Wanted to know what is the matter with the pressure. Darn fool.
The darn fool was me.
Oh, well, it still goes.
And I still want to know what's wrong. Come on outside, Charlie, where we can talk. Now, what's the trouble with the pressure?
Well, what do you think it is? You got eyes, ain't you? You got ears. That dad-busted snifter valve. Can't run the pump only half speed.
Why not?
Because all that's holding it together is a piece of baling wire. That's why not.
Well, can't you...
No.
Well, maybe you...
No, can't do a dad-busted thing.
No, look here, Charlie. You may be running the pump, but I'm running the waterworks.
Mr. Gildersleeve, if you don't like the way I run the pump, you can get yourself another boy.
Now, be reasonable, Charlie. If you needed a new part for the pump, you should have called it to my attention long ago, before it became an emergency.
Why, Dad busted, I sent you a requisition for that snifter valve 3 months ago.
I never saw it.
Holy Toledo.
No requisition for any snifter valve ever reached me.
Sure it did, Unc.
What do you know about it?
Well, don't you remember that time you tried to stand on your head at the picnic?
Him stand on his head?
Yeah, Mrs. Ransom dared him to.
Leroy.
Well, you did, and everything fell out of your pockets. And then there was this paper. I remember because I asked you what a snifter valve was.
I don't see how that could possibly be, Leroy, because, well, I never carry important papers around with me, or if I did, it must have been something, and, well, there's a war on, you know.
What a character.
That's your boy, Mr. Gildersleeve.
He's my nephew.
A darn sight smarter than you are.
Yeah. Chip off the old block, yeah. Charlie, you got to help me out here. We got to get that water pressure up some way. It's going to look bad.
Mr. Gildersleeve, if I was to put a full head of steam onto that snifter valve, she'd blow from here to Christmas.
How do you know? You haven't tried it, have you?
Of course I ain't tried it. What do you think?
Well, couldn't you sort of humor it a little bit? You know, speed it up little by little, see how much it'll take?
Mr. Gildersleeve, before I put another pound of steam onto that donkey engine, I'll quit. Yes, sir. You can get yourself another boy.
Yeah, all right, boy. Now keep your shirt on. Just show me how, and I'll do it myself.
Show you how?
Well, it's got to be done, Charlie. We got to get the pressure up some way, and right away.
Oh, all right, I'll try it. But remember, if she blows, she blows.
If she blows, she blows.
I must be getting soft in the head. Come on.
Be careful now, Charlie.
It's a fine time to tell me that. Keep an eye on that pressure gauge while I open her up.
Yeah, let her go. Yeah, that's the stuff.
What's the gauge say?
245. He's coming up. 250. 260. 270. Great work, Charlie. Keep it up. 280. 290.
Bingo!
Now look what you did.
Look what I did. I quit. You can get yourself another. Why, Dad, believe it, I did it on your orders.
Well, if you haven't got sense enough not to take orders from somebody who doesn't know the first thing about pumps, you ought to quit.
Oh, what a character.
And watch out or I'll get myself another boy.
Great Gildersleeve will be with us again in just a few seconds. Who doesn't remember those good old Halloween parties when the whole family bobbed for apples and gobbled up huge fistfuls of crispy, crunchy popcorn? Now, if everyone in your family likes popcorn as much as I do, try this at your Halloween get-together. Pop up an extra big bowl full, heaps and heaps of it. And to make it taste extra good, drench that popcorn with melted parquet margarine. There's a way to really enjoy popcorn with delicious parquet. Of course, most everyone likes delicious, satisfying parquet margarine spread on bread, rolls, pancakes, and waffles. That's how it's enjoyed most often, as a delicious spread. Parquet is wonderfully nourishing, too, one of the best energy foods you can serve. And remember, each pound of parquet contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. Parquet bears the seal of acceptance of the Council on Foods and Nutrition of the American Medical Association. So tomorrow, get Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y, the quality margarine made by Kraft. Now let's hurry back to the Great Gildersleeve. a king without a kingdom, a horseman without a horse, an organ grinder without a monkey, all these are well-fixed fellows alongside of a water commissioner without any H2O. But this is the plight in which our hero finds himself now as he sits in his office listening while his emergency staff handles the complaints of Summerfield's bone-dry citizens.
Water Department. Service will be resumed as soon as possible.
Water Department?
It's due to circumstances beyond our control.
Service will be resumed as soon as possible.
Water Department?
Circumstances beyond our control.
The commissioner is in conference.
Service will be resumed at our earliest convenience.
Bertie, that's not what I told you to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. No, sir, Mr. Gildersleeve ain't here. I'm sorry, sir, I can't answer that. No, sir, I ain't his secretary, I'm his cook.
Bertie, give me that telephone.
Yes, sir. I told you this was a little out of my line, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah. Never mind, Bertie. Hello, Gildersleeve talking. Oh, hello, Your Honor.
Jeepers, the mayor.
Well, yeah. Huh? Yes, Your Honor. I'll be over right away. Oh, I gotta go see the mayor.
Uh-oh.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Water Department.
Say, do I have to stay here all afternoon?
Leroy, don't you want to help me? What else have you got to do?
I've got to write my composition on how you make your living.
Well, don't write it today. By tomorrow, I may be in another line of work.
Sit down, Gildersleeve.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, Gildersleeve, you certainly turned out to be a fine water commissioner.
Your Honor, this was due to circumstances beyond my control.
I'll do the talking. I just want to give you a little advice.
Thank you.
If this town stays dry about 2 hours longer, you'll probably be ridden out of it on a rail.
But, Your Honor, it wasn't my fault.
No?
No, sir. It was due to circumstances beyond my control. In the first place, my chief engineer is incompetent.
That's nothing to me or to the public. If your engineer's no good, get another one.
I've looked all over town. There aren't any.
Then you'll have to get along with the one you got.
I can't do that, Your Honor.
Why not?
Well, in the first place, he used unbecoming language to me.
I don't blame him.
And in the second place, he quit.
Gildersleeve, you're dumber than I thought.
I am not.
Yes, you are. Now, I don't care how you do it, but get that water running this afternoon.
Yes, Your Honor. Why did I ever get into politics? I could have had a nice, quiet life selling insurance or ladies' stockings. Hello, Charlie. I can't... Why, you... Charlie! Charlie! Please, Charlie, I want to talk to you. I've got to talk to you.
What for, Dad? Busted?
Well, I want to apologize.
What?
I want to apologize. I want to... Apologize?
Well, that's different. Let's hear it.
Well, I'm sorry I said those things to you, Charlie. Will you come and fix the pump?
No. Might have known there was a catch to it.
Yeah. Will you come back, Charlie, please?
No, Mr. Gildersleeve, I'm darned if I will.
Charlie, this is an emergency. Summerfield is depending on me.
They are.
Completely.
Well, all I got to say is anybody depends on you is a darn jackass.
Yes. Now, Charlie, let's try to discuss this in a dignified manner.
There ain't anything to discuss, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Now, look here, Charlie. I can probably take legal action in a case like this.
Well, go ahead and take it.
Judge Hooker is a pretty good friend of mine, you know.
All right, let him fix the pump.
Yes, that was not my idea. I'll get him to...
Darn telephone. Yeah. Trouble with phones is some darn jackass is always calling up.
You don't have to tell me.
Hello, yes. Yes, this is Anderson. Oh, well, I can't do anything about it. The pump's busted. Huh? Now, wait a minute. I got to have it for dinner tomorrow. Oh, now, all right, doggone it. Goodbye. Well, Mr. Gildersleeve, I guess I got to try to fix that darn pump after all.
Great, Charlie, great. I knew your civic pride wouldn't let Summerfield down.
Civic pride my elbow. My wife's lady's got to have water tonight, or I don't get a shirt for the Elks' dinner.
Now, if you'll just stand right about here, Commissioner.
Here?
Yes, that's fine. Now, if you could just say a few words into the microphone, please. Just testing, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Fine. You'll be all right, Commissioner. Now, we'll just stand by.
Stand by? What does that mean?
Quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you at this time Summerfield's Water Commissioner, who has an important message for us regarding the crisis in the water supply. Mr. Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, the water's been off for several hours. This was caused by difficulties over priorities due to the war. That is, we were unable to secure a certain type of valve which our water pump required.
Yes, Al, that clears up the situation nicely, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Now, would it be possible for you to make an estimate at this time regarding when service may be resumed?
Oh, yes. I'm happy to say that a corps of skilled engineers is now working on the pump under my personal supervision, and we confidently expect service will be resumed in the near future.
In the near future. Fine. Well, I'm sure that's very good news for our listeners, Commissioner. And I want to thank you for coming up here to WSUM for this timely interview, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I would like to say again that this breakdown was due to circumstances.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. We continue now with our out-of-state football scores, ladies and gentlemen. Crowley Teachers 85, Christian Aggies nothing.
Football scores, that's radio for you.
Busted, Commissioner. Can't you hold it any tighter than that?
I'm sorry, Charlie. Thing's pretty slippery, you know.
Let me hold it for a while, Unc.
No, Leroy. This requires great physical strength.
Ha ha.
Leroy.
I didn't say anything. Uncle Charlie, what's this thing here?
Don't bother him, Leroy. Say, Charlie, I hate to bring this up again, but have you any idea how soon?
No, Dad, Busted, I haven't.
Well, you're the superintendent here, and in my radio speech, I promised...
I don't give a triple hoot what you promised. I'm doing the best I can. But if I ain't fast enough for you, Dad Busted, go get yourself another superintendent.
I was only joking.
What's this thing down here, Uncle Charlie?
I told you not to bother him, Leroy.
I'm not bothering him. I just asked a simple question.
You asked too many simple questions.
Okay, if you don't want me to write my composition, it's okay with me.
I just don't want you to bother Charlie. Now, what is it you want to know?
What's this thing here?
That? Funny, isn't it? That's part of the pumping machinery.
Oh. What's it for?
I don't know exactly. It has something to do with the pressure, I think. What is that for, Charlie?
It's a shaft, Governor. Keeps the pump running smooth and steady.
Oh, yeah, that's about what I thought. What are you laughing at?
Me? Oh, nothing. I just happened to think of a joke I heard one time in the vaudeville show.
What was the joke, Uncle Charlie?
Leave him alone, Leroy.
He ain't bothering me. I'll tell you what, Commissioner. If you could give me a hand at this thing now, we might see if she'll go on.
You mean we're almost finished?
No, but we can see if she fits anyway.
Oh, fine. What is it you want me to do?
Can you get down there under them stuffing boxes?
Certainly I can. Where are they?
Down there. Kind of dirty. Better put on them overalls hanging on a hook.
Oh, yes.
Here they are, Unc.
Thanks. A little greasy.
They ain't greasy inside.
Oh.
Now, you get under there, and I'll hand this thing right down to you.
Yeah, all right, Charlie. Dark down here, isn't it?
Well, you get used to it. Now, lay down under that there stuffing box.
I have to lie down?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll try. Oh!
What's the matter, Unc?
My head hit that darned whatchamacallit.
That's the shaft, Governor.
I don't care what it is.
Well, can you make it under there?
Well, partly.
Okay. Now grab a hold of the end of this. You got her?
Yeah.
All right. Now feel around underneath right where your shoulder is, and you'll find a little hole.
Yeah.
Hook the pin bolt into that hole. What's the matter now?
My head's in a puddle of oil.
Well, it washes off easy. Can you get that pin bolt in?
Yeah, I'm trying. There.
All right. Now hold her in tight while I fasten the valve at this end. Then she'll be solid.
All right, but hurry up.
Keep your shirt on, Dad. Busted. Hand me that wrench there, will you, son?
Here. What was that joke you remembered, Uncle Charlie?
Well...
Don't be telling jokes while I'm down here like a rat in a trap.
All right. There now. That feels pretty solid.
That's more than I do. Can I come out now?
Yeah, sure, I guess so.
All right, Charlie. What do we do now?
Well, I'll be dad blamed if I know. This is the first time I ever made a snifter valve out of a coffee grinder.
Oh? Well, do something.
Well, we could try starting her if you want to take a chance.
Go ahead.
All right, here goes. But you've been wrong before.
Never mind that. Stand back, Leroy.
Don't worry.
Well, Dad busted. I'm a better engineer than I thought.
Charlie, you're the greatest engineer in the world. Well, Judge, I got out of a nasty hole yesterday, didn't I?
You did, Gildy. You asked me, you were pretty lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean? I was pretty smart. It was my idea to give that interview on the radio. Gave the public the right impression of the whole thing.
All right. You were smart.
Why, of course he was. Uncle Moy's always smart.
Well, we needn't go into that.
You can't get my goat today, Horace. But you're right, Marjorie. Yeah, they got to get up pretty early in the morning to catch your Uncle Throckmorton.
Yes, sir.
I could have wrecked my career as easily as not.
Hi, Judge. Hi, Unc. Hello, beautiful. Stop that.
Leroy, I've asked you not to slam the front door.
Oh, sorry, Unc. I forgot. What do you think?
What?
My composition was voted the best in the class, and they're going to print it in the Summerfield Indicator tomorrow.
Well.
Congratulations.
Is this on the level, Leroy? Sure. You want to hear what I wrote?
I'd love to hear it.
Okay.
Chip off the old block.
My uncle's occupation. My uncle is the water commissioner, and he has a very difficult position which he carries out with great efficiency, supplying water to the people of Summerfield.
That's fine, Leroy. Not so bad, eh, Horace?
Splendid.
He has to see that everyone gets water in their house or their place of business, which is very complicated.
Very complicated. Oh, that boy writes with real style, by George.
In addition, my uncle supervises all of the machinery that filters the water and pumps it into the pipes, and he has to see that the pipes are in good condition. People don't realize what a difficult occupation my uncle has.
Yes, sir, the boy is right.
The reason the water was off yesterday was just because he left a requisition in his other pants.
Leroy!
The end.
The end is right.
For Christmas?
Young man, you've got an awful nerve to talk about Christmas after what you've done today. Now go away and let me read my newspaper.
Well, gee, I wish I knew how I could make some money.
Mow the lawn.
It doesn't grow anymore.
Rake the leaves.
Gee, that's a lot of work.
I told you, Leroy, you don't get anything for nothing in this world. Here, wait a minute. Here's something.
For nothing?
Well, practically. Now, here's a way to make some money. Collect old newspapers, and the junk dealer downtown will give you $15 for a ton of them. $15? Hey, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but a ton is a lot of paper.
Nonsense. You and your friends could collect it in a couple of afternoons. I'll bet there's 100 pounds of old newspapers in our basement right now.
Boy, maybe Piggy and I could make some real money.
Sure. Collect newspapers, magazines, wrapping paper, paper bags, all kinds of paper.
But we need a wagon.
Get an old baby carriage, Leroy. Tie the papers up in neat bundles, and the junk man will come and get it.
Boy, we'll be rich.
Well, not rich. But the money isn't the main thing anyway. It's the Army and Navy that need the paper.
What for?
For all kinds of things. Let's see. It says here, waste paper is used to make containers and cartons for food, supplies, and equipment needed at the front. 100 pounds of waste paper will make containers for 50 75-millimeter shells.
Gee.
Waste paper is used to make bomb fins, parachute flares, camouflage paper, cartons for field rations, fuses, helmets. It's even used to pack blood plasma. So you see, every time you collect a load of paper, my boy, you're not only making money, but you're backing up the Army, Navy, and the Marines all over the world. I'm talking to you, too, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Music heard on this program was directed by Claude Sweet. And this is Ken Carpenter speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company, and inviting you to listen again next Sunday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve. This program has come to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Carnew, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Walk into a store to make a purchase, whether it's Johnson's Wax or soap or shoes, does it occur to you that your dealer renders you a valuable service? And never so valuable as now, when wartime restrictions complicate his operations. He buys a little of this, a little more of that, things he believes you're going to need, and he puts them on his shelf until you come to buy them. He has to have a convenient location, people to wait on you, and maybe delivery service. Now, if that's all he did, you still couldn't get along without him. But he does more. He exercises buying judgment on your behalf. Selects from among the goods offered those that he can recommend to you and stand back of. For your protection, Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, and Johnson's Carnew are sold only through recognized dealers, never by independent door-to-door canvassers. Remember this, if a house-to-house canvasser ever offers you such a product under a Johnson name... What is so rare as this time of year? When city dwellers full of cheer start making for the lakes and woods with tons and tons of sporting goods. With suntan lotion, bathing suits, fly rods, rifles, wading boots, camp stoves, tents, and hunting knives, dark glasses, beer, and weary wives. Full of fun and fancy follies and plans like Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
What I'd really like to do is go into the wildest part of the Rocky Mountains with nothing on me but a blanket and a hunting knife. That's really what I'd like to do. What's so funny?
You.
Huh?
I can picture you prowling around the mountains with a blanket and a knife.
What do you mean?
Why, you can't even peel an apple without losing a few fingers.
And why? Because I'm soft. I've been living too easy. A couple of weeks in the woods and I'd harden up like a boarding house mattress.
Well, somehow a week or two of camping out doesn't have much appeal for me. Let's stay home, McGee, and play rummy and go to a few movies.
No, sir, nothing doing. I want to get away from things.
What things?
Well, things. People, telephones, and mail, and newspapers.
Well, where are we going? Have you decided?
Oh, I think so. Of course, we can't take the train anyplace, and we haven't got a car, so I had to pick a place nearby. Lake Dugan.
Lake Dugan?
Yep.
Why, that's right on the edge of town.
Sure. Take all our stuff out there right on the streetcar. I can run in every morning and get the mail and the newspapers and see if there was any phone calls. Swell swimming there, too.
Yeah, if you can find a place between the rowboats. That's a fine place to get away from people.
Huh?
Why, you can't roast a marshmallow out there without burning a hole in somebody's bathing trunks.
That reminds me, where's my Boy Scout hatchet?
Well, you threw it away.
I did?
Sure, because it cut your wrist when you tried to open a can of tomatoes with it.
Huh?
Remember? I washed your wrist off with boric acid and your mouth out with soap.
Where's my rifle?
Well, it's practically all rusted to pieces.
Rusted? How did it get rusted?
Well, you said it was almost impossible to get cartridges for it now, so I had to have something to stir the washing with.
Oh, my gosh. All my equipment is shot. Why, come in.
How do you do, Mr. McGee? Hello, Mrs. McGee.
Hi, sis. Hi.
Well, how do you do, I'm sure. I just stopped in to tell you I'm going on my vacation for the next 2 weeks, and to wish you a very pleasant summer.
Well, gee, sis, thanks. Thanks very much. Same to you.
Yeah, we hope you have a nice time, too, dearie.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
It'll be nice to hear your voice again in the fall. Well, good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Who's that?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
I never saw her before in my life. I was going to ask you.
Why, this is terrible. I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, you better find out.
Wait a minute, dearie. What's your name?
Mert.
Oh, thank you. Mert.
Yeah, my gosh, I knew I'd heard that voice someplace. Whom now?
Abigail Uppington, and be nice, McGee. We won't be seeing her all summer.
I wish somebody'd write music to that. Those are the prettiest lyrics.
She doesn't mean to be so uptown. She's just got an inferiority complex.
Inferiority complex, my clavicle. That's the excuse everybody gives for somebody being bad-mannered, high-hat, and generally disagreeable. Why, that old whippet never had a...
Hush. She'll hear you. Come in. For goodness sakes, if it isn't Abigail Uppington.
Oh, how do you do, my dear? I'm Mr. McGee.
Hi, Uppity. Fling the frame on a chair, and I'll tell you how we celebrated Father's Day in
And how did we, Mr. McGee?
It was pop, pop, pop all day long. You get it, girls? Father, pop? It's kind of a subtle play on words.
It ain't funny, McGee.
Personally, I thought it rather provocative of mirth. Well, Uppy, what are your plans for the summer? Just to start the conversation because I don't really give a hoot.
McGee. Mind your manners.
Oh, not at all, Mrs. McGee, please. After all, one expects a certain natural rudeness in the virile, masculine, rough diamond, outdoor type of man.
Well, gee, thanks, Uppy. You don't just say
Although in the anemic, undersized pool-room type like you, Mr. McGee, it's just nearly irritating.
Oh, yeah? Why, you triple-chinned, non-flying fortress?
McGee! Stop it this minute. My goodness, you ought to be ashamed. Now, apologize to Abigail.
Okay. I apologize, Uppy. It's my inferiority complex. Makes me nasty.
Oh, these little outbursts don't upset me in the least, Mr. McGee. I merely say to myself, Abigail, I say, why should you be annoyed because some inflated little gutter snipe goes away and leaves his voice running?
But Abigail, listen.
Oh, no, these little arguments do not affect my social equilibrium in the slightest degree. That is due to my theatrical training. Oh, yes, in the theater. One is trained not to be overwhelmed by the stress of emotional scenes, and in spite of them, to make a graceful exit. Good day.
Wait, Abigail, don't...
Hey, Uppy, that's the door to the...
Wrong exit. Goodbye.
McGee?
Sure, I know what I need for camping, Fred. I've been camping out ever since I was a kid. Nothing healthier, too.
Yes, I guess so.
Used to sleep like a log. Matter of fact, up in the Canadian Rockies once, I slept so much like a log, they rolled me into the river, and I was halfway down to the sawmill before I woke up. It was only because of my...
Hello there, kids. Where are you going?
Hello, Mr. Oldtimer.
Going down to the Wistful Vista Sports Shop, old-timer. Starting our vacation tomorrow and need some camping equipment.
Oh, that's great stuff, kids. Great stuff. Used to be quite an outdoor man myself. Used to own a ranch in Wyoming.
That's what you says last week. What was your brand?
2 guitars, a fiddle, a banjo, and a jug. One of the fellers...
No.
Huh?
Not band, brand.
Yeah. Didn't you brand your cattle?
Nope. Started to once, but I accidentally sat down onto a hot branding iron.
I see.
What happened to me shouldn't occur to a cow.
Well, if you spent so much time on a ranch, Mr. Oldtimer, how come you're not bow-legged?
Used to be awful bow-legged, daughter.
Oh.
I was so bow-legged I had a terrible time in church for a while. Took me 3 pews to kneel down.
How'd you ever get your gams ironed out?
I took a trip to New York. Got caught in the subway rush. Come out knock-kneed.
Well, I always knew you were a Westerner, Mr. Oldtimer. You know, you've got that squinty look around the eyes that comes from gazing across the sunlit desert. Or trying to find the pork in a can of pork and beans.
That's pretty good, daughter. That ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller says two. Gotta get going. Have a nice summer, kids. See you in the fall.
Hey, what's the rush?
Oh, I got a date with my gal, Johnny. Librarian at the library. She reads to me every afternoon. We're on Black Beauty now, and I'm pretty worried how it comes out. Things the way they are now, I'm scared Black Beauty's going to wind up on a blue plate.
You know, I hope you'll be as young as he is when you're as old as he is, McGee.
I hope I never look that old. His face looks like it had wore out 3 bodies. Well, here's the sports shop, Mal. Come on.
Good day, sir. What can I do for you? We're having a special today on moose calls. Genuine Brazilian birch bark. They come in 3 tones, plaintive, urgent, and imperative.
No thanks, bud. I don't want one.
But, sir, why, on our last order, we asked for 6 gross. And do you know how many we got? Half a dozen, of which this is the last one. There won't be any more, you know, for the duration.
Oh, how terrible.
Gee, maybe I better take one.
No. We don't want it, McGee. We need a moose call like you need a hole in the head.
In his case, that might be exactly
Pipe down, bud. If my wife says I don't need a moose call, by George, I don't need a moose call, see? I would like to try it once. I never blew a moose call.
Certainly, sir. Go right ahead.
Well, that didn't seem to arouse any particular... Oh, look, McGee, here comes Mr. Wilcox.
Why, this is a wonderful little gadget, Molly. One honk, and in comes Wilcox.
Yes, but he's not a moose.
Well, he's an elk, ain't he? That's awful close. Hi, Junior.
Hello, Fibber. Hello, Molly.
Hello, Mr. Wilcox. Say, you're an expert on better homes. Won't you help McGee pick out a pup tent?
Oh, sorry, I can't do it, Molly. I have to be at a war plant in 20 minutes. I just dropped in here to have my tennis racket restrung. Take care of it, will you, Abercrombie?
Certainly, Mr. Wilcox. I'll have our racketeer go right to work on it.
What you all going to a war plant for, Junior?
Well, I've got to give a short talk.
On what? As if we could never guess.
On nutrition.
Well, that's a new way to approach it. On what?
Nutrition.
Oh, now, come, Mr. Wilcox. It's a fine product, we know, but even we who love it so dearly wouldn't eat it.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm going to give a talk on the importance of war workers, yes, and other workers, too, maintaining their health by eating the right kind of bodybuilding food. Primarily butter and milk and cheese products. That's Group 4 of the government's nutrition program.
I see.
Yes, it seems the nutrition experts have divided all food into 7 groups. And to keep in fighting trim, we must have at least 1 food out of each group every day. Milk is one of the most necessary items in the whole list.
So what if I don't like milk? My gosh, if I get plenty of meat and potatoes...
You see, the milk and cheese group of the nutrition plan contains some of the most vital elements to human health. Milk furnishes about 3/4 of the calcium we need every day to build our bone structure properly. Milk and cheese are full of vitamin A, and without vitamin A, our eyesight is impaired. All grocery stores have lists of the 7 basic food groups posted up, and it's easy to refer to them when you do your shopping. Well, I think I'll close my little talk by saying, vitamins for victory. There's a great day coming, so drink your great day today.
Oh.
Do you like that?
Oh. No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
Well, then it must be good. I'll use it. See you later, folks.
Goodbye, Mr. Wilcox.
Hasta la wistful vista, Junior.
Is there anything in particular I could show you now, sir?
Not right away, Bud. I want to kind of look around first.
Yeah, we're mostly interested in camping equipment. He wants a pip tent.
Pop tent.
Well, give me the pip. Every time. Oh, look, McGee, here comes Dr. Gamble. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Hi, Doc.
Buying something, or did you just come in to get out of the fresh air?
Start my vacation tomorrow, Doc. Going to go camping.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I can hardly wait to treat you for sunstroke, poison oak, chiggers, water in the ear, spider bites, and fish hooks in the gluteus maximus.
You know, I'm going to make him be more careful this year, Doctor.
Oh, it's no use, my dear. He's the kind who needs a lifeguard when he washes his hair. I think there ought to be a law against vacations. Here we build a man up and keep him in shape to do his daily work for 50 weeks out of the year, and what happens? He takes a vacation.
Wow.
He sleeps outdoors in a damp cot. Exercises like a commando when his greatest effort for the past year has been tearing the band off a cigar. Swallows gallons of muddy lake water.
You're just an old sourpuss, Doc. You think everybody ought to go through life chewing on a thermometer and walking on their hands so they won't get their feet wet?
Well, the doctor just doesn't like to see people make fools of themselves, dearie.
You're quite right, Mrs. McGee. But it's like trying to keep an apple seed from making an apple of itself. Well, I hope you folks enjoy yourselves this summer. Take a good rest, my boy.
Thanks, Doc.
And my boy, don't be like most men on a vacation.
Huh?
Remember, this little woman is your wife. Not a red cap, a washing machine, or a nursemaid. Let her have some fun, too. I'm glad you're getting out of town for a while, McGee.
You think it'll do him good, Doctor?
I doubt it, but it'll give me a new lease on life. Goodbye now.
The King's Men and a little close harmony.
The old songs, the old songs, are good old songs for me. I love to hear those minor chords and good close harmony. Down in the cornfield, hear that mournful song, all the darkies am a-weaving, masses in the cold, cold ground. Hush, hush, don't make a noise while the old man's sleeping. Run in the barn, get out the boys, and we'll have a little banjo meeting. Down in the cornfield, hear that mournful sound. All the darkies am a-weaving, masses in the cold, cold, cold ground. The cold, cold
Now, this is a very humane rabbit trap, Mr. McGee. Here's how it works. We put a piece of lettuce on the trigger here, cock the spring, then Mr. Rabbit comes along. See? He sniffs the lettuce, takes a bite, and that blank cartridge explodes. Ingenious, isn't it?
Yeah, but that would scare the rabbit away.
Of course. That's why this is the most humane trap made.
Well, I think that's ridiculous. And furthermore, I don't
Hello
know...
there, McGee. Hello, Mrs. McGee.
Why, Mr. Coast Guardsman Latrivia, how nice.
Hi, Latriv. You still on leave?
My leave is up tomorrow, McGee.
Oh. Want to stop coasting and start guarding again, eh?
Yes. As I was saying to one of our petty officers last week.
Now, that isn't a very nice way to talk about your officers, Mr. Latrivia.
I said nothing derogatory, Mrs. McGee. In the Navy, an officer's rank...
If an officer's rank, you should keep quiet about it. Sure. Nobody's perfect, Mr. Latrivia. Remember that.
Mrs. McGee, please. I merely made the statement that a superior officer...
You've got an inferiority complex, Latrivia. They just seem to be acting superior because you got no gold braids, see?
I didn't say they acted superior. They're superior officers because the higher the rank...
They hire the rank what? Go on and say it, Latrivia. But remember, enemy ears are all about us. No disloyalty.
Don't accuse me of disloyalty, McGee. I was only trying to tell you that an ordinary seaman...
Don't you dare call our sailor boys ordinary seamen, Mr. Latrivia. Why, our sailors are the best seamen there are.
Yeah. Just because you think your officers are petty and act superior, Latrivia, don't you think...
I don't think anything. I mean, I didn't think what I was saying. You twisted everything I've said. Now, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
I said that one of our petty officers...
Now, Latrivia, I warn you. If you persist in that attitude, I'll be forced to report you.
Yes. And you'll be thrown in the grog for 90 days, and how do you like that?
It isn't a grog, it's a brig. Grog is an old Navy term meaning rum.
Yeah, well, what's so rum about a term in one of our grogs?
I tell you, it isn't a brig. A grog. A drink is a brig. No, that's grog. In a Navy grib, a brig, a dog, a grog.
Hey, have you been drinking, Mr. Latrivia?
I don't drink, and you both know it. But before I go, I'd like to straighten you out.
Don't you threaten my wife, you big bully. You'll have to straighten me out before you lay a finger on her.
Yes. For shame. A man in the United States uniform threatening women with violence. Mr. Latrivia, I was never
Please. Just listen to me for a moment.
Okay, Latrivia, but make it snappy before I call the FBI.
Now, look. You've got me all wrong. I didn't mean to say it. My observations were my officers are the pilot. Say, what is this?
Dear.
Have you been pulling my leg?
Yeah, and I don't mind telling you, Latrivia, you got the stretchingest leg we ever pulled.
Don't be angry, Mr. Latrivia, but it was just like old times, and we just couldn't resist it.
Angry? Oh, I'm so relieved I could kiss you. I think I will.
Hey. Oh, thank you.
Now, McGee.
Oh, no, you don't. You get away from me. I ain't going to...
Oh, don't be silly. I just wanted to shake hands.
Oh, that.
That's it. Wish you a nice vacation, both of you.
Thanks.
Good luck. And I hope when we meet again, the box score will be no Hitlers, no ruins, no terrors.
Oh, I hope so, too, Latrivia. Happy landings, boy.
Goodbye now.
Great little guy, Latrivia.
Little?
Yeah.
Did you see his chest? I was scared to death he'd take a deep breath and push us right through a showcase.
Yeah, he's a pretty husky little... Oh, you got that sleeping bag I asked for, Bud?
Yes, sir. A genuine snug buzz sleeping bag.
Uh-huh.
We have two of these, though the other one is damaged, which makes this one the last one we have in stock.
For the duration?
Yes.
Hey, that's pretty good. A sleeping bag. Just crawl in and zip it up, eh, Bud?
That's all. Waterproof, sun-fast, and guaranteed as long as it lasts.
Now, listen, McGee, I don't think you want to... Oh, hello there, Mr. Wimple.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Wimp, old man. You like this sleeping bag? I'm thinking about buying it for a little camping trip Molly and me are going on.
Oh, I don't care much for them, Mr. McGee. Let sleeping bags lie is my motto.
Mr. Wimple, were you buying some vacation things?
No, Mrs. McGee. Sweetie Face sent me down to pick up a couple of dumbbells.
Oh.
My goodness, I never expected to find you here.
Is that a crack, Wallace?
Well, of course not, Mr. McGee. I never make cracks.
Oh.
I learned my lesson last week when I flew off the handle with Sweetie Face.
Oh.
You did what, Mr. Wimple?
I flew off the handle.
You finally did it?
Yes, I was out in the kitchen frying some eggs, and Sweetie Face came in.
Yeah?
She grabbed the frying pan, but I hung on to it, so she started whirling me around her head.
Oh.
Finally, I flew off the handle and crashed into the china cabinet.
I bet she was sorry she did that.
No, that made her more angry than ever. She said, aha, in your cups again, and sloughed me with a refrigerator.
very violent woman, I'd say.
Yes. You going to buy this sleeping bag, Mr. McGee?
Well, I don't know, Imp. Mind if I try this one on for size, Bud?
Very happy to have you, Mr. McGee. We don't close till 5:30 if you'd care to take a little nap in it.
Oh, no, McGee.
Oh, I ain't sleepy anyway, Molly. Here, hold the top open while I wiggle into it. That's it. A little wider. That's it.
Fits nicely around the hips, doesn't it?
My goodness. He looks like a little caboose in there, doesn't he, Mrs. McGee?
You mean papoose, Mr. Wimple. A caboose is the rear end of a freight train.
Yes, I know.
Okay, zip it up, Bud. Hey, this is wonderful. I'll buy this, Bud. You better let me out now. It's too hot.
Oh, dear me.
What's the matter?
The little piece that unzips it is broken off. So careless of me.
Well, get it out. Cut me out of this. I'm slipping.
Good heavens, man. It's a $32 sleeping bag.
Well, he's worth more than that to me alive. Rip it open.
Hurry up, Bud. Hurry up. Get it out of here.
Just be patient, sir. I have no authority to enter the property of the store.
Well, all of that rather dirty luck. Why does everything have to happen to me?
What do you find so amusing, Mr. Wimple?
It just struck me funny, Mrs. McGee, to have you end the season on this note.
On what note, Mr. Wimple?
Well, for once, the bag is holding McGee.
Oh, dear.
There's one thing we all have in common right now. We're very busy. There are so many demands on our time, both on the job and at home, that we're tempted to let certain things slide, just not get them done. You might think, for example, you could just forget the finish of your car. Let it look shabby as long as you watch things like the tires and batteries. But there's more to it than meets the eye. That dirt and grease and road scum that collect on the finish may be doing serious damage by chemical action. The only safe procedure is to remove that shabby film of dirt and keep the finish clean. Then it won't deteriorate. You can keep it clean so easily with Johnson's Car New, the easy-to-use polish that both cleans and polishes with one application, 2 jobs at once. Car New is a liquid. It dries to a powder which is easily wiped off. You'll gladly do a Car New job yourself, and you'll be surprised what it will do for your self-respect and for your driving pleasure. Remember the name Johnson's Car New, spelled C-A-R-N-U.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our sponsors and all of us connected with this show, we want to thank you once more for your wonderful support and loyalty. This last season, as you know, the makers of Johnson's Wax dedicated every 4th program to the presentation of some government message, some phase of the war effort which we thought we might make a little clearer to you in our own peculiar way. We want to thank Mr. Elmer Davis, his Office of War Information, for the highly efficient cooperation we've had in getting our facts straight and eliminating conflict with other programs.
Yes, and keep tuning in this summer at the same hour. Because, you know, Johnson's Wax is again presenting MGM's outstanding teller of amazing tales, John Nesbitt, in his dramatic passing parade. Now, if you remember his famous Letter to Hitler last summer, which was so widely reprinted, you'll be interested to know that in his first show next week, he gives you a new letter to Hitler. It'll be a wonderful series, and we know you'll enjoy it. So until McGee and I see you nice people again.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Of the old-timer and Wallace Wimple heard on this program were played by Bill Thompson. This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night when we bring you that outstanding teller of amazing tales, John Nesbitt, in his passing parade. This program has reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Kraft Cheese Company will also bring you the Kraft Music Hall every Thursday night. Present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Whedon and Sam Moore. We'll hear from The Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. Nowadays, society gives you the green light when you tip your plate of soup, or mop up gravy with a dab of bread, or leave your plate clean as a whistle. We wartime Americans have gladly discarded many wasteful rules of etiquette To make food, fight for freedom. The all-important rule these days is waste no food, eat every scrap. Of course, one way to be sure that all the food you serve gets eaten is presented in tempting, appetizing ways. And I do know this. You'll enjoy bread, rolls, and muffins down to the very last crumb when they're spread with delicious Parquet margarine. Ah, yes, ma'am, Parquet's delicate flavor really satisfies. Adds to your enjoyment of many fine foods. And since Parquet margarine is so very high in energy value, it's really a wonderful aid to good family nutrition. Remember, too, that each pound of Parquet contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So get the nutritious spread that's known far and wide for its truly fine flavor. Buy Parquet, that's Parkay. Parquet margarine, made by Kraft. Now let's see what goes on at the home of the great Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. It's Saturday evening, the day before Halloween, and his niece is giving a dance. All afternoon, he's been rolling up carpets, putting extra leaves in the dining room table, carrying out furniture, and carrying it in again. But now that the heavy work is done, he finds himself brushed aside. After an early makeshift supper, he wanders forlornly out to the kitchen to watch last-minute preparations there.
Oh, what are you making there, Bertie? Frosting?
Yes, sir.
Say, that looks mighty good. Do you mind if I just...
Come on.
Mr. Gildersleeve, a man can lose a finger that way.
It's wonderful, though, Bertie. Say, don't you think you've beaten that about enough?
Ain't sure if it's stiff enough.
Oh, well, I'll just see.
Uncle Mort, really?
Just tasting it, my dear.
Mr. Gildersleeve, if you keep tasting, there ain't going to be frosted enough to put in your eye.
Who wants it in his eye? If you'd like to put a lid on a piece of bread now...
Uncle Mort, go out and play.
Let's go out and play.
Bertie, don't you think it's about time we took another peek at that cake?
Cake? I'll do it.
Stay away from that oven. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Gildersleeve, but you want that cake to fall?
I was just trying to help.
Run along, Uncle Mort. I'll look at the cake, Bertie.
You either.
What?
If some of the people don't get out of this kitchen, I'm going to go clean out of my mind.
Bertie, I was just
Well, you more trouble than all the rest of them. Want me to fix a party? You got to give me a chance. I ain't no Superman. No, sir. All I got is 2 hands. Can't come in here back and dirty.
Come on, Marjorie. I think Bertie wants to be alone. Let's go in the other room. After you.
Oh, Leroy, for heaven's sake.
I am Frankenstein the Wolfman. I eat up little girls.
Let go!
I walked with a zombie. The undying monster.
Leroy.
The living dead.
Stop that and take off that mask.
It's only me, Unc. Did I scare you?
Yes. I don't know how you expect to scare anybody. You've been going around that rig scaring people for a week.
Well, I'm just practicing being horrible.
You don't need any practice.
Now, Uncle Mort, you make him promise to keep away from my party. I just know he's going to... Oh, that's probably for me.
Don't worry, Glamour Puss. I wouldn't be caught dead at your party.
Hello? Is that you?
No, it's me.
Oh, I couldn't tonight, Lester. No, I'm sorry. No, I couldn't possibly.
Why don't you tell him you're giving a party and he's not invited?
Shut up, Leroy.
Let her alone, Leroy.
Pardon the interruption. Brad again. Go on, tell me all about it.
I don't know what kind of a Halloween party this is anyway. No games, no pumpkins.
What did you used to do on Halloween, Unc?
Oh, we did a lot of things, my boy. Made jack-o'-lanterns, bobbed for apples.
Pretty corny. What else?
Well, we had one little trick.
Yeah? What was it?
Well, we used to take 2 buckets of water.
Yeah?
And when it got dark, we'd put them on each side of somebody's front walk. And we tie them together with a piece of cord across the walk. And then when somebody came along, well, you can imagine.
Hey, that's great.
It was a very thoughtless, wicked thing to do, Leroy. I hope you will never do anything like that.
Are you kidding?
I mean it. Somebody might trip and hurt themselves badly. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
There's one other thing to remember.
What's that?
Only fill the buckets halfway. It won't work if they're full.
Oh, my goodness. Go to the door, somebody. I'm on the phone.
Well, get off it.
I'll go. Oh, I've got to hang up now. Goodbye, Lester.
Yeah, so much for Lester.
It's Wally Hawk.
Wally Hawk.
Well, the kid himself. Hiya, Junior. What are you supposed to be?
Frankenstein.
Oh, blow me down.
Talk to Wally, will you, Uncle Mort? I'll be right down, Wally. I've got to run up and put on some lipstick.
What for? It's coming right up. Take these records with you, son, and don't drop them. Got a couple of real oldies there. Red nickels.
Gosh.
Mr. Hawk, my name is Gildersleeve. I'm Marjorie's uncle.
Oh, hi. Heard a lot about you.
I've heard a lot about you, too.
Favorable, I trust.
Anybody tune his so-called piano lately?
Young man, that's a Wembley.
Not bad.
Hey, Wally, I can play a boogie bass now like you showed me. Look.
Hey, that's not it. Look out.
I didn't do it right. Let me just...
Look out. Let me at it. Like music, Mr. Gildersleeve?
I like music, yes. Mr. Hoff, would you mind telling me something?
Not at all. Shoot.
That sweatshirt you're wearing, is that customary these days? At dances, I mean?
What else?
In my day, we wore tuxedos. And we didn't wrestle. We danced.
Oh, your day. Your day is over, Uncle Mort.
Yes, I guess it is.
Well, don't stop, Wally. Give out.
What'll it be, gorgeous?
Oh, anything at all, only give. The party's dying and it hasn't even started. Uncle Mort, I don't want to be rushing you, but the gang will be here any minute.
I can take a hint.
Well, take Leroy with you. Why don't you see if Mrs. Ransom's doing anything tonight?
Maybe I will, and maybe I won't.
Oh, that's it. Play that.
On with the dance. Let joy be ugly fine.
Oh, brother, even in my... Come on, Frankenstein. This is no place for us.
Gosh, it's dark out, isn't it?
Wally Hoff.
He's a swell piano player, Unc.
You stick to Bach.
That sounds like Piggy. Hey, Pig, wait up! That's his signal. See you later, Unc.
Wait a minute.
Yeah?
I won't ask you to keep out of mischief, Leroy. Just keep out of jail.
Okay. Where are you going, Mrs. Ransom?
Never mind. Run along.
Hey, Pig, wait for Frankenstein.
Nobody's going to tell me what I'm going to do. If I want to call on Leila, I will. And if I don't, I won't. Just hope she's in, that's all.
Who's style?
Boo!
Yeah. Throckmorton, you mustn't do that.
Yeah, but it's Halloween, Leila.
No, it's not. Tomorrow's Halloween.
I know, but they're celebrating it tonight. What are you doing, Leila?
Well, I had this date for tonight, but at the last minute I was unable to go on account of a headache.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yes.
Well, perhaps some other time.
Oh, I feel much better now.
Oh, you do?
Uh-huh. Isn't that lucky?
Will you go to the movies with me?
Well, I don't know about tonight, Throckmorton. I'm just scared to death of ghosts and witches and all.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be with you.
Promise you'll stay close to me and protect me?
I'd like to see the ghost that you get between us.
There'll be a slight wait inside for all seats.
Oh, he says they'll be waiting, Throckmorton.
How many, please?
How long will we have to wait, miss?
The next complete showing will begin at 9:53. How many, please?
9:53. That's half an hour, Leila. Do you want to wait?
Oh, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, make up your mind.
Stepping to one side, please. Keeping the line moving, please.
Shutting the mouth, please.
Throckmorton.
Well, they can't push me around. Evidently, our patronage is not wanted here, Leila. Let's go somewhere else.
I declare, Throckmorton, I've never seen Summerfield so crowded.
Why don't these people stay home nights? Well, I suppose we could at least drop in here and get a soda. Would you like a soda?
I don't know. Would you?
Oh, I don't know. Would you?
Oh, look, a little boy in a mask.
Well, that's more like it. That's the first real sign of Halloween.
Oh, well, what's that thing you're swinging around?
Oh, that's a sock filled with flour. Oh, we used to have more fun with those.
Oh, he isn't going to hit somebody with it.
What do you think it's for?
Hello, little boy.
Hello there, Sonny. What's your name? Oh, cat got your tongue, huh? You're not Piggy Banks, are you?
You're not going to hit anybody with that, are you, little boy?
Yes, careful now. Careful how you swing that. I'll tell you what, if you go away, I'll give you a nickel. Listen, if you hit anybody... Look out now. If you're Piggy Banks, I'll tell your mother. Did you hear what I said? If you come near me with that, I'll... Come back here, you. I dare you.
Let me brush you off, Throckmorton.
Well, I think you might show a little more consideration, Leila.
Oh, but you look so funny, darling. Come on, let's go in and get a soda.
Well...
Well, hello, Mrs. Ransom.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Peavy.
And Mr. Gildersleeve. Well, has it been snowing out?
No, it hasn't been snowing. The lady here would like a soda.
Well, aren't you going to have anything, Throckmorton?
I got something.
Oh, well, if you're not going to have anything, I'm not going to have anything.
All right. Soda for me, too. Chocolate.
Chocolate it shall be.
How have you been, Mr. Peavy?
Oh, just fine, Miss Ransom, just fine. You two been out doing the town?
Well, if you could call it that. Halloween isn't what it used to be, Peavy.
No, Mr. Gildersleeve, it isn't. And maybe it's just as well.
Why?
Well, I remember one Halloween. Harry, it's a lucky thing we didn't all land in jail.
Well, what did you do, Mr. Peavy?
Well, you know how boys are, Mrs. Ransom. I remember it was a dark night like this one. It was out at old Mr. Thatcher's house, crabby old fellow. Maybe you remember the house, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, yes, I remember it.
Well, we'd planned this thing for weeks, and it was dark, as I say, so we appointed one boy as a lookout, and we hid in the bushes till the coast was clear.
Oh, yeah? Go on.
And when we got the signal, we sneaked across the lawn.
Yeah?
We tiptoed up the front steps.
Uh-huh.
Crawled on our hands and knees across the porch.
Yeah?
And stuck a pin in his doorbell.
Peavy, you didn't.
Yes, sir. And I want to tell you, I got out of there just fast as my legs would carry me.
Peavy, I wouldn't have believed it if you hadn't told me yourself.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Gildersleeve. I didn't actually stick the pin in the bell myself.
Oh?
I stayed behind in the bushes. But if they ever found out that pin came out of my lapel...
Yes, came out of my...
Throckmorton, you know what I think?
Know what?
I think we ought to have a Halloween party, an old-fashioned one where you bob for apples and stick pins and things.
But it's too late, Leila.
Oh, no, it's not. Tomorrow's Halloween, really. We could have it at your house.
But, Leila...
Oh, don't be an old killjoy. Now, who we have? Oh, you come, won't you, Mr. Peavy?
Well, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to, Mrs. Ransom. You see, Mrs. Peavy gets a little nervous around Halloween, so I usually stick pretty close to home till it blows over.
Oh, too bad. Well, there's Judge Hooker. We'll have to have the judge.
Yeah, for laughs.
Now, who else?
Well, we ought to have another girl.
Oh, do you think we need to?
For the judge. You know, the old goat likes to think he's Sir Walter Raleigh.
Oh, well, who can we get? I don't seem to know many women somehow.
Oh? Well, there's a Miss, Goodwin, I think her name is.
Goodwin? I don't seem to recall.
I only know her slightly.
Oh, well, how does it happen I've never heard you mention her before?
Well, I say, I know her. I've met her, that's all. She's the principal of the school.
Oh, a school teacher.
Yeah, school teacher.
Well, that sounds perfect for the judge.
Yeah. Oh, you know her, don't you, Peavy?
Oh, yes. She's perfect for the judge.
Yes, perfect for the judge.
She can't be that perfect.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I'd say that she was...
Thanks for the sodas, Peavy. Got to be running along.
Oh, but Throckmorton, I've hardly finished.
Got to get going before the crowd gets out of the movie.
Oh, gracious, how you rush it, girl.
Oh, forgot to pay. Peavy, did anybody ever tell you talk too much?
Why, no.
Well, consider yourself told. Good night, Peavy.
The Great Gildersleeve will be with us again in just a few seconds. These days, everyone's interested in good, satisfying food, and everyone knows that flavor is mighty important. Yes, it's flavor that makes us enjoy the foods we eat. It's flavor that tempts hungry appetites. That's why Kraft, the maker of Parquet margarine, is so particular about fine flavor in this delicious spread for bread. Parquet's flavor is something you'll want to tell your friends about. It's so delicate and appetizing, the margarine that tastes so good. And right along with its tempting flavor, Parquet margarine is wonderfully nutritious, too. It's one of the best energy foods you can serve your family. And while we're on the subject of good nutrition, remember that every single pound of Parquet contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. Parquet is a quality margarine that bears the seal of acceptance of the Council on Foods and Nutrition of the American Medical Association. So for flavor to satisfy your family and for the kind of nourishment they need, serve Parquet every day. Ask your dealer for Parquet. That's Parkay. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Halloween is here at last, and the Great Gildersleeve is ready for it, come what may. Leroy has carved a pumpkin, and Bertie has prepared some refreshments.
Don't they teach you any poetry in school these days, Leroy?
Oh, sure. I woke up in the morning and looked upon the wall. There was a flea and a bedbug having a game of ball.
Leroy, you didn't learn that poem in school.
Oh, I did too. Piggy taught it to me during geography.
Yes. By George, I'm going to ask your teacher to change your seat. I can see Piggy's a bad influence on you.
I doubt if Leroy's doing Piggy any good either.
Oh, is that so? Who asked you to put in your 2 cents?
Well, you're certainly just as bad as Piggy.
I suppose his sister's been shooting off her big mouth.
Leroy?
She has not.
Well, I can tell a few things about you and her and Wally Huff.
For instance.
Quiet! I'm expecting guests here any minute. Do you think I want them to walk into this kind of a cat and dog fight?
Well, he's ordered it.
Stop it. I'll finish it. I'll not have this kind of goings-on. Leroy, where are you going?
Out on the porch.
What for?
Oh, to light the jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, well, that's all right then. It's a very good idea. Make a cheery welcome for my guests. What are your plans, Marjorie? Would you like to stay here and enjoy a little old-fashioned Halloween fun for a change?
Oh, gee, do I have to?
Certainly not, my dear. What were you thinking of doing this evening?
Wally and I were going down to Brownie's Beanery for a while. Some of the gang's going to be there.
I certainly dislike that boy.
Oh, he grows on you, Uncle Mort.
Why, George, you won't get a chance to grow on me. Hi-ho. Well, I'll have a real Halloween anyway. I'll see how Leroy's coming with the jack-o'-lantern. Real Halloween air. Gosh, dark as a pants pocket out here. Where's that kid? Leroy!
Hi, Unc.
I didn't see you, Leroy. Confound it, how many times have I told you it's not funny to scare people?
I wasn't trying to scare you. You called me and I answered.
Well, all right, but be careful. Why haven't you lit the jack-o'-lantern?
The wind keeps blowing out the matches.
Nonsense. There's no wind at all tonight.
It comes in puffs.
Well, give me those matches and I'll show you how a woodsman lights a fire.
Where's the woodsman?
Just watch me.
Okay. Say, isn't this Judge Hooker coming?
Where? I don't see anybody. Oh, well, it may be at that. Hello, Judge.
Hi, Gildy.
Yeah, trust him to get here first.
Hi, Judge.
Hello, Leroy. Well, Throckmorton, happy Halloween. Am I the first one?
Leroy
Confounded Gildersleeve, what's the idea?
It wasn't my idea, Judge, but anyway, happy Halloween. Just stand here by the fire, Judge, and you'll be dry in no time.
Doggone that kid.
Now, Judge, boys will be boys.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you put him up to it.
Why, Horace.
And you laughed.
Well, I couldn't help it. I'm always laughing. Now, cheer up, Judge.
Maybe that's my girl.
Your girl?
Miss Goodwin.
What makes you think she's your girl?
All right, I'm easy to please. I'll take Leila.
Oh, no, you won't. Leila's my girl, you old goat.
Rather be a goat than a hog.
Well, hello, Leila.
Hello, Throckmorton.
Come in. We were just talking about you.
I knew it. I can feel my ears burning.
Yeah, they're still pink at that. Let me take your coat.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my, the house looks lovely. I think Halloween decorations are so exciting, don't you?
I certainly do.
Oh, good evening, Horace.
Good evening, Leila.
What a wonderful idea, coming in your old clothes. I just love old clothes parties.
This is my new suit, Leila. Or it was when I left home.
Well, what happened?
Gildersleeve's little nephew played a Halloween prank that soaked me to the skin.
Oh, how awful. That doesn't sound like Leroy Throckmorton.
It's my idea of Leroy.
Oh, mercy, the judge might have caught pneumonia.
Oh, don't worry about me, Leila. I'm a pretty tough old rooster.
Oh, well, let's forget all about it and have a nice Halloween. Where's your lady friend, Horace?
Miss Goodwin? Oh, she's not my lady friend. Not according
to... Now, Horace, can't you take a joke?
Seems to me I'm being asked to take a good many this evening.
That must be Miss Goodwin now, Judge. Why don't you go and let her in?
Well, thank you.
What did Horace mean about her not being his lady friend, Throckmorton?
Oh, nothing. Just his peculiar sense of humor.
Good evening, Miss Goodwin.
Good evening, Judge Hooker. So nice to see you again.
Permit me to take your rest.
Throckmorton?
Yes, Leila?
I thought you said she was a school teacher.
She is, Leila.
Well, she dresses like the school teachers in Esquire.
Now, Leila.
Here we are. Mrs. Ransom, may I present Miss Goodwin?
How do you do?
It's so nice to meet you. Good evening, Throckmorton.
Well.
Hello, Eve.
Well. Why didn't you tell me, Miss Goodwin, and you were such old friends, Throckmorton?
Well,
Since he's been on the school board, we've seen a good deal of each other, Mrs. Ransom.
I see.
well. Nothing so much fun as a Halloween party, is there? Or is there? You don't have the right technique for apple bobbing, Judge.
Oh.
You have to follow the apple right down to the bottom and get your teeth in it.
Oh, I could never do that. I'd ruin my hair.
I wouldn't mind. Let me try it.
Well.
Yes, I'll show you, Eve. Stand back, everybody.
Wait a minute, Gildy, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, you will now witness a death-defying exhibition by Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, diving into 1 foot of water from the stupendous height of 6 inches.
Oh, Horace, you're simply a scream. I declare I think you're funnier than Bob Hope.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that.
Yeah, neither would I. Look, I'll show you now how to get the apple.
How you doing, Gildy?
Mercy, Throckmorton, come up for air. You'll drown.
Don't worry about him, Mrs. Ransom. He has wonderful breath control.
Well.
Hooray! Gildersleeve, you look exactly like a roast pig.
I know what we ought to do now. Let's tell ghost stories.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea, Eve. I know a real thriller.
Ghost stories never scare me.
Yeah, it'll scare you if we turn out the lights. Turn off the lights, will you, Judge?
All right.
There.
I'm still not a bit scared.
You will be. Once there was an old haunted house way out on the edge of a swamp. There was a ghost in the house who was trying to find his murdered wife. And he used to go through the house every night at midnight saying, ooh.
Ooh, I'm frightened already.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous myself.
Oh, pooh.
Well, one night, some hunters were passing near the house when it got real dark. And not knowing the reputation of the place, they decided to spend the night there. So they went up to the door, and just then...
Oh, Throckmorton, this is silly.
I think it's fun.
I know a game that's lots more fun in the dark than telling ghost stories.
Well, what is it, Leila?
Sardines.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of sardines?
No.
Oh, well, the way you play it, one person hides in the dark, and then all the others try to find him. Or her. And when you find the person, you don't say anything. You just stand as close to him as you possibly can till all the others find you. That's sardines.
Oh, well, I can see it's got possibilities.
Yeah, let's try it. Miss Goodwin, why don't you be the first to hide?
Why, Horace, I suggested the game.
Now, you can hide next.
Yeah, very fair, Judge. Go ahead and hide, Eve, while I count 50.
Well, I don't know any places, but... Oh, all right.
All right. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. All right, Eve, here we come. Who left that chair there?
Oh, doggone it!
The judge is having a little trouble, too, I can see. What's this?
Now, Throckmorton.
Who is it?
You ought to know.
What am I supposed to do now?
Stand close to me.
Can't stand any closer, can I?
What's going on here, anyhow?
Hey, no fair turning on the lights.
Throckmorton Gildersleeve.
Now, Leila.
Well, if I'd known there were this kind of people in the game, I never would have suggested it.
Mrs. Ransom.
Don't you try to shush me.
I wonder if you'd mind taking me home, Judge.
But, Eve, the party's just begun.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's all over.
Now, wait a minute. Leila, please. Eve, please, Leila. Oh, who invented Halloween anyway? you don't understand.
I understand very well, Throckmorton. Take me home, please.
But they've all gone, Leila. I want to explain.
There's nothing to explain. I turn the lights on and I find you pawing that school teacher.
Leila, if you could just listen.
Let go of my arm, please, Throckmorton. Will you open the door for me?
Oh, God.
Thank you. Now, do you want me to walk home by myself?
I'll take you if you're really determined. Leila.
School teacher. She must be a fine school teacher.
Well, she is.
Oh, that's right. Stick up for her.
I'm not sticking up for her. She didn't do anything. I thought she was you.
Throckmorton, that's a ridiculous bare-faced fib. She's wearing Chanel No. 5, and I always use Shalimar.
Well, Leila, I don't know one perfume from another. To me, they both smell good.
I don't care to hear any more, Throckmorton. Oh, look out!
Oh, my goodness.
Good night, Throckmorton.
You can't leave me here in this. Wait till I get my hands on Leroy.
Don't blame Leroy, Gildy. Happy Halloween.
Music heard on this program was under the direction of Claude Sweeten. This is Ken Carpenter speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
This year, thousands of women all over the country are discovering what a special help with wartime meals is the product called Kraft Dinner. A box of Kraft Dinner gives them enough delicious macaroni and cheese for 4 people at only a few cents a serving. They get 2 boxes of Kraft Dinner for only 1 single ration point. And with Kraft Dinner, they cook that delicious main dish in just 7 minutes. In every Kraft Dinner box, there's a special macaroni that cooks fluffy tender in boiling water and an envelope of Kraft grated. With this handy Kraft grated, you whisk cheese goodness through and through the fluffy macaroni in a jiffy. A very smart trick is to shape the hot Kraft Dinner in a ring mold for a minute or two, unmold on a platter, and serve with creamed vegetables or fish or a little meat. But just as is, Kraft Dinner gives you a mighty fine main dish. Try this 7-minute macaroni and cheese soon. At your food store, be on the alert for point-saving Kraft Dinner. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Carnew, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Folks haven't noticed it, the month of September is almost gone. In lots of homes, heating plants have already been in operation. In many others, they soon will be. What happens when the heat comes on? Well, for one thing, there's less moisture in the air, and everything tends to dry out. Also, there's apt to be more dirt in the house. And those are 2 important reasons why good housekeepers make sure every fall that their floors, furniture, woodwork, and leather goods are all protected with a coat of Johnson's Wax. The wax helps to keep wood and leather surfaces from drying out. In this way, it acts as a preservative, a protection for so many things around the house. Your floors, your tabletops, windowsills, Venetian blinds, and your luggage and other leather articles. It makes your daily and weekly house cleaning so much easier because dirt just doesn't cling readily to a Johnson Wax surface. Today, it pays to protect your things with genuine Johnson's Wax, entirely aside from the fact that a regular use of this wax polish adds great beauty to every room in your home. Well, here they are again at 79 Wistful Vista, Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Good happy days, McGee. Sit down and relax.
Oh, okay.
Stop your pacing. If you can't consider my nerves, think of the shoe fund.
Well, I can't help it, Molly. I'm just full of spent-up energy. I'm restless as a kitten.
Well, how a man who gets as much rest as you do can be restless is beyond me, dearie. What do you want to do?
I don't know. I just want to... What was that?
What was what?
Listen.
Oh, that's that Great Dane that belongs to the people next door.
Great Dane? Sounded like a horse to me.
I know. They've been feeding him so much horse meat he whinnies at the moon.
Did you know they've taken in a roomer next door?
Yes, I've seen her going in and out. Very attractive girl, too. What does she do?
She's a procrastinator at a burlesque show downtown.
A procrastinator?
Yeah. She puts things off. Hey, I wonder if there's any of the gang down at the club. I could lick my weight in cribbage players tonight.
McGee?
Huh?
We have an extra room.
Good for us. I guess I'll call the club and see who's hanging around.
Maybe we could rent it to some war worker or somebody. You know, rooms are awful scarce in town now.
On the other hand, if I could just find one pigeon to play gin rummy with, I'd... Rent what?
The back room. Wouldn't be any trouble and might bring in $8 or $10 a week.
We can't rent that back room. I got my moose head in there.
Put the moose head in Uncle Dennis's room. He won't mind.
Why should he? He's even glassier-eyed than the moose.
Now, you stop picking on Uncle Dennis. He only uses it for medicinal purposes.
Yeah, I know. I saw him sitting in the medicine cabinet on Oak Street last night. That guy in the white coat must have been the intern. Give me the phone, Molly. I'm going to call the club.
Here.
Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me the Elks Club at 790. Oh, is that you, Mert? How's every little thing, Mert? It is, eh? What say, Mert? You did. Had a nice saddle of mutton and somebody swiped it. Well, I should think you would be, Mert.
Would be what, dearie?
Saddle sore. What say, Mert? They don't? Well, they didn't hear either. Oh, well, probably got a big game going on down at the club and took the receiver off the hook. Well, thanks anyway, Mert. No answer.
You know, if there was somebody in that back room, there'd always be somebody here if we wanted to go out at night.
Go out where?
Oh, to a dinner or movie or something.
Oh, let's go to the movies.
All right. Say, why don't we stay here and listen to the radio? Bob Hope is on tonight, you know.
Oh, I think that guy's a phony.
What?
You can't tell me he makes that stuff up as he goes along.
Say, did you hear him last week kidding Mrs. Roosevelt about traveling so much?
Yeah. He was just sore because he had to come home before she did. Boy, did you see that pan of his on the cover of Time magazine?
No, was it good?
Good. Did you ever see a relief map of the High Sierras? I'll tack a necktie under it and you got hope. I always thought he was a young guy.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I read someplace about a golf match he played, and it said he was in the 70s.
No. It's pretty gutsy of an old guy like that to go booming around in a bomber. What movie do you want to see?
You select one.
Okay, let's go to the Palace.
What do they got?
They got the best candy of any theater lobby in town. Let's go. What do you say?
All right, dearie. I'll powder my nose and get my purse. I'll be with you in just a minute.
Ah, there goes a good kid. Best wife a man ever had.
What was that?
Oh, nothing. Yes, sir. If I had it all to do over, I'd marry her again as quick. Even if her old man still thought I was a no-good bum. She's the one that's always... Ah, dear. Hope that ain't Doc Gamble. He's a bigger bore than the big-inch pipeline. Come in.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hi, sis. Well, whatever your business is, if any, make it snappy if possible, because we're going to the movies if it ain't too crowded.
Oh, why don't you go to the Orpheum, mister?
Why?
They got Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Oh.
Boy, is that a dilly. Willie Toop sat behind me and couldn't even see the picture on account my hair was standing on end all the time, I bet you.
Well, I guess I'm too sophisticated for that stuff, sis. I go for the polite drawing room comedy type of stuff like that there for stuff.
Oh, yeah? Don't give me that, mister. Last Saturday I saw you sit through a Hopalong Cassidy Western 3 times. And when you came out, you were walking bow-legged.
Well, that wasn't from watching the picture. I stopped in on my way home from the grocery and was sitting there with a sack of potatoes between my knees. Now, look, sis, we got to be going, so if you don't mind, I would...
Hey, you know, I go to the movies all the time, mister.
You do?
I was the one this aft.
Mm-hmm.
They had Frankie Sinatra in person.
Thrilled you right down to your bobby sock, Dave.
Oh, brother. I guess I'm just a slick chick, mister.
Yeah? Well, maybe you are, but you can't roost here. We're going out.
Okay, I'll go. My uncle's home anyway, and I want to see him. You know, he's a stomach gunner in a flying fortress.
You don't mean a stomach gunner, sis. The correct term is...
Please, now, mister. There's a lady present.
Okay, lady. Now, scram, will you?
Sure. My uncle's more fun to talk to anyway.
Oh.
And boy, do those aviators eat. You know, he had 7 scrambled eggs for breakfast.
Wow. How does your mother feel about that?
Oh, she don't care. She says that's wise. Out of the frying pan into the fryer, she says. Go on, mister.
Give me 2 tickets, the main floor. Wait a minute. How much is the main floor?
65 cents, sir.
How much are the loges?
Loges are 85 cents, sir.
What? 85 cents for loge seats? Are they studded with diamonds or something?
The loge seats are upholstered, sir.
So what? So am I, but I don't make myself 85 cents every time I sit down.
Now, McGee, stop arguing and buy a couple of tickets. You're holding up the line.
Now, don't hurry me, Molly. I'm fighting for a principle here. Now, look, sis, you know and I know that 85 cents for loge seats is ridiculous. It's inflationary. Let's see your ceiling prices.
There are no seats on the ceiling, sir. The second balcony is as close as you can get.
Oh, a smarty skirt, eh? Well, how much are balcony seats?
50 cents, sir.
50 cents for balcony seats? Why, how you can see better from up there than you can from the main floor. And you charge less. Now, that don't make sense, sis. Now, look at here.
Oh, dear. Heavenly days, McGee, you're keeping 40 people waiting.
So what? I'm fighting for them as much as I am for myself. Hey, I know one of the stage hands here. Let's go see the picture from backstage.
Don't be silly. We wouldn't understand a word from behind the screen. Why, the sound would be backwards.
Huh? Oh. All right. Quit pushing back there. Now, take it easy. The theater ain't going anywhere. Give me 2 main floor seats, sis.
I have some money if you're short, McGee.
Thanks. I got the exact change. Here, sis, $1.31.
Well, that's 1 cent too much, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm giving you a penny for your thoughts. That's the biggest profit you'll ever make. Come on, Mrs. McGee.
I don't think you're very nice to that girl, McGee. She didn't do anything.
Well, gee whiz. I never like to buy anything unless I dick her a while. Bargain is one of the few luxuries you can buy these days.
You lead the way, dearie. My eyes are no good in the dark.
Okay. Hang on to my coat.
Oh, dear. It's as gloomy as a broadcast from Berlin.
Here's 2 seats, Molly. Right in there. Oh, I'm sorry, sis. Come on, Molly. Maybe farther down.
In here, McGee. That's it.
Nice timing. The feature's just over. I hope there's a newsreel tonight.
Yeah?
I always like to see the new battleships sliding down into the water. Always reminds me of my fat Uncle Herman getting into the bathtub. He was one of those guys that...
Quiet, dear. You're disturbing people.
Oh, let him go. I forgot to get some candy. I'll be right back. Hold the seat for me.
All right, but hurry now.
Hey, Usher, where's the candy display? Never mind. Oh, I see it.
Well, hello, pal.
Wilcox. Well. As the fellow says to the racing board when they gave him another A card, long time no see.
Well, Fibber, where's Molly?
Inside. I just come out to get a hunk of candy. What are you doing loafing around this theater lobby?
I'm waiting to talk to the manager. You know Sigmund Wellington?
Siggy? Oh, sure. He's secretary of the Chamber of Commerce. Kind of a dope.
Well, I don't agree with you, as usual.
Huh?
I think Wellington's a pretty bright guy. Been around, too. Managed theaters all over the state of Texas.
Yeah, well, that's what he says. Two will get you 10 that he thinks the panhandle is a facial massage. What you want to see him about, anyway?
Well, it's confidential.
Oh, come on, you can tell me. You know how I am, Junior. Telling me a secret is just like whispering it to your little pillow on your little trundle bed.
I know. There'll always be a slip on it.
Oh, come on. What you want to see Wellington about?
You won't say anything?
Cross my heart.
Okay. Look, it's about the other theaters in town.
Yeah?
Yeah. They can't understand how he manages to keep all his woodwork and these paneled walls and the doors and everything so gleaming and shiny when help is so hard to get. They think he's holding out on them.
Well, what's the secret, Junior?
Well, it really isn't any secret, pal.
Yeah?
Anybody can buy Johnson's wax. And there's nothing like it to protect and beautify all wood and enamel surfaces.
Yeah?
And particularly in a theater with thousands of people passing through every day, smudging everything with fingerprints.
Oh.
Why, Johnson's wax is the answer to a theater manager's prayers.
You're not just saying that to try and sell more Johnson's wax.
You see, Wellington is the only married theater manager in town.
Oh.
His wife told him all about Johnson's and how it saves her hours of housework and guards against dust and dampness. That's how he got ahead of those other fellows.
Well, what are your plans, Junior?
Well, I'm going to ask Wellington to ask his wife to tell the other theater managers about Johnson's wax.
Well, look.
Yeah?
Why don't you tell them about it?
Well, doggone me. I never thought of that. Gee, thanks, pal. I've still got time to call on all of them tonight. I'll see you later.
That guy pulled my leg as often as I suspect him of pulling it. I'd be 19 feet tall. Oh, well. Hey, sis, give me a chocolate bar.
What kind, sis?
Oh, give me a O. Henry. I'm in a literary mood.
That will be 5 cents, sir.
Now, price is no object, sis. Now, let me see. 5 cents, 5. Uh-oh. I bought the tickets for the last bit of change I had. Hold the candy a minute, sis. I got to get some dough for my wife. I'll be right back.
Well, hello there, McGee.
Oh, Doc Gamble. Hi, Doc.
What are you doing? Buying some candy to build up your strength so you can pull yourself out of your rocking chair that you've got wedged in on account of getting so pudgy with too much candy?
Don't give me that routine, Doc. Hey, where you been all summer? I haven't seen you around.
Took my first rest and vacation in 30 years. Went hunting out in Wyoming.
Great country, Wyoming. Einstein Hemingway used to go hunting around out there.
You and who?
Einstein Hemingway. You know, Ernest Hemingway. Writes movies.
Oh, yeah. Kid's got a great future.
Yeah. That's what I always told him. Stein, I says, those movies you've been writing are pretty good. I says, that Farewell to Arms and For Whom the Bell Tolls, but why don't you settle down and write a book?
That's what I like about you, McGee. Always inspiring people to do things.
Oh, well, shucks.
They'll do it sometime, too, and we'll find your body stuffed in a culvert.
You got a morbid sense of humor, Doc. How was the hunting out in Wyoming?
Great. Never felt better in years. Dropped 15 pounds the first day out.
Yeah? What'd you do, lose your knapsack? Hey, Doc, you got a nickel on you? I just discovered I didn't have any change.
Sorry, my boy. All I have is some big bills.
You're telling me. Well, I'll go back in and get some dough from Molly. Are you going in the theater?
No, I just got a phone call. Got to rush across town and tell some darn fool that his daughter, that he thinks is going to be a son, won't be here for another week.
Oh.
See you later.
So long, Doc. Now, let's see. Hey, hold
hold that candy bar for me, will you, sis? I'll be right back as soon as I get a nickel from my wife. Dad's I missed the newsreel. Now, let's see. Where was Molly? Hey, hand me your purse, quick. Oh, what the? Oh, my gosh, I'm in the wrong aisle. Oh, purse snatcher. Why not? Wait a minute. Let go of me. It's all a mistake. Hey, Molly, where are you?
Over here, McGee. I'll see you in the lobby.
Oh, my gosh, I better lay hands on me. I'll get late. No, take it easy, folks. It's all a mistake. I was only trying to...
This way, McGee. Hurry into the manager's office.
Oh, lock the door, Molly. Lock the door. If they catch me, they'll lynch me up to the nearest lamppost.
My. For goodness sakes, what happened?
Oh, I went for candy. No money. Came back. Wrong aisle. Asked some woman for her purse. Thought it was you. Phew. So I...
Company coming.
Don't open that door. Don't let him in. They'll mob me.
Answer the phone.
Yes, you answer. I'll move the door in front of the desk. I mean the desk in front of the mob, in front of the phone. I'll answer the desk. You hold it. That woman, she may have a gun. Oh, this is awful.
The King's Men and Pistol Packin' Mama.
Listen to the story of a gal that's known as May. She shot me with a 44. I'll never be the same. Oh, lay that pistol down, babe. Lay that pistol down. Pistol Packin' Mama. Lay that pistol down. Take it from me, you should never flirt with that woman's off Texas way. Cause if you do, I'm telling you, it's what you'll be having to say. Lay that old pistol down, babe. Lay that old pistol down. Pistol Packin' Mama. Lay that pistol down. Oh, Happy made a batch of corn and the revenuers came. Their draw was full, so now they know you can't do that to maim. Lay that pistol down, babe. Lay that pistol down. Pistol Packin' Mama. Lay that pistol down. I took another lady to the county fair. Thought I'd have a little fun. But there was name taking aim. Now I'm on the run. Lay that pistol down, babe. Lay that pistol down. Pistol Packin' Mama. Please. Hey, lay that pistol down.
I wish that phone would stop ringing. It makes my nervous.
Well, anyway, the crowd seems to have quieted down.
Answer it, Molly. Tell them they got the wrong number.
That wouldn't help. They'd just try again. Palace Theater, Molly McGee speaking. Who? Just a moment. McGee, do you know anybody named Bottlenose Gilroy?
Bottlenose Gilroy? Why, sure. He's the stagehand I know that works here.
Well, he says you can unlock the door now. The mob is under control and the manager wants to come in.
Oh, swell. Tell Bottlenose okay.
Hello, Mr. Bottlenose. Thank you very much. We'll open the door. Yes, thank you.
Oh, hi, Wellington, old man. Sure, I'm glad to see you.
Oh, is everything under control?
Yeah.
My.
Of course, madam, everything is under control. Any theater manager who is unversed in mob psychology is unworthy of his salt, which is an old expression derived from ancient times when salt was an extremely valuable commodity.
Oh, I'm sorry I caused such a disturbance in your flicker tent, Wellington, but it was strictly inadvertible. What happened was I mistook some old grab bag for Molly in the dark and asked her for her purse. And she yipped like a banshee and the battle was on.
A significant demonstration of war nerves, my dear fellow. It is an apt illustration, if I may say so. May I say so?
Well, indeed you may.
Thank you. It is an apt illustration of a current wave of irresponsible hoodlumism. We of the theater are deeply perturbed at the unmanly conduct of some of our shall we say, patrons?
He left.
Patrons. Speaking for the community as a whole, and this community is one of the worst holes I've ever... Practically beside the point, I shall continue. What I mean to say is something must be done to combat this epidemic of hoodlum-ism. Otherwise, and I say that advisedly, otherwise many responsible executives, and I am one of them, might be forced to seek other means of livelihood.
I see. You mean if you can't control your customers, you're liable to get fired, huh?
Admirably, if somewhat brutally put, madam. And now, if I may quote almost any radio announcer, and now, charming as this has all been, I must ask you to relinquish possession of my sanctorum, sanctum, sanctor...
Okay, Bud, okay. Furthermore, we'll let you have your office back. Thanks for the use of the bomb shelter.
That's all right. Excuse me very much. A moment. Hello. Yes? I want purple umbrella? I shall have to use it. The outfit looks for it. Don't mention it, madam. Goodbye.
Somebody lose something?
Someone is always losing something in the theater, madam.
Oh.
We find so many lost articles that, as I often say, that is, quite often, at closing time, my office closely resembles the city dump. And now...
Okay, we're going, Bud. Thanks for everything, and don't apologize for us being so badly scared in your theater. Just slip us a couple of passes sometime. That'll square it.
You're sweet. Good night.
Oh, my. Shall we go home, McGee?
Oh, I want to see the rest of the show. Come on, let's go. The newsreel again. Let's go home.
Fine, we can come back next week.
Yeah, what's the next feature?
Heaven can wait for 2 weeks. They say it's a very good...
Hey, Molly, look. There's Latrivia.
Well, heavenly days. Hello, Mr. Latrivia.
Hello, Molly. Hello, McGee. Nice to see you.
Well, how's everything in the Coastal Guard, Latrivia? What are you doing in town? Sailing the bounding Main Street?
No, I came to see Mr. Wellington, the manager of the theater. You know him?
Oh, quite well.
Yeah, I went to school with him, Latrivia. He and I slept in the same geometry class. Pal of yours?
Oh, no. I'm seeing him on business for the Coast Guard. At every performance next week, we're putting on a recruiting talk.
You need more men?
We need more women.
That's a kind of a chronic complaint with sailors, ain't it, Latrivia?
This is a recruiting campaign for the SPAs, McGee. Oh. That's the women's division of the Coast Guard. And a wonderful organization for women between 20 and 36 who really want to do something in this war. I have a selfish interest, I'll admit, because every woman who joins relieves a man for frontline duty.
I know how you must feel, Mr. Latrivia. Where do the SPAs train?
At the Biltmore Hotel in Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, gee, honest? Must be wonderful to stay at a swell hotel like that and pay off in salutes. Hey, how much jewelry are those spars allowed to wear, Latrivia?
Oh, I don't know. Just the essential minimum, I suppose. Why?
Oh, just wondered if they were allowed to wear clanking bracelets and stuff. You don't want spars that jingle, jangle, jingle. Don't you get it, kids? The joke lies in the similarity of sound between spar and spur.
Ain't funny, McGee.
Really? I thought it rather amusing.
Say, what do SPAs do in the Coast Guard, Mr. Latrivia?
Well, they act as chauffeurs, cooks, stewards, bookkeepers, teletype and telephone operators, and 100 other things. Almost everything but actually manning the boat.
You're going to be in conference very long. Maybe you could come home with us and have a cup of coffee.
Well, thank you very much. But some other time, Mrs. McGee. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, McGee.
McGee, Coast Guardsman Latrivia said good night.
Huh? Oh, excuse me. I was thinking.
About what?
Women being sailors. Must be strange to have a sweetheart with a mustache in every port. Oh, well, times do change. Now, good night, Latrivia.
See you soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Well, come on, McGee. We've had enough excitement for one evening.
Yeah, I guess so.
Pardon me, sir. Do you still want this candy bar?
Oh. All right, sis. There, I do at that. Give me a nickel, Molly.
Sorry, dearie, I can't.
Why not?
I forgot to tell you, but during the confusion, somebody snatched my purse.
Somebody... Oh, sure.
If this were a quiz show, I might be asking you this question. What do children and dogs and delivery boys have in common? And if I told you it had something to do with your kitchen floor, I'm sure you'd have the answer right away. Sure, they all track in dirt and rain and snow onto that floor, and you're the little woman who has to clean it up. Of course, if your floor is protected with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat, you just relax and say, oh, what's the difference? Because you know that a damp cloth will wipe up those cracks and that dirt in a jiffy. And the linoleum itself will not be harmed because the glow coat keeps it safe. Yes, it saves in two ways. Saves you work and saves your linoleum. The regular use of glow coat makes linoleum last 6 to 10 times longer. And you know, of course, that Johnson's glow coat is self-polishing. It needs no rubbing or buffing. You simply apply and let dry. Glow coat keeps linoleum colors fresh and bright, and that's a good point, too. Wherever you have linoleum floors, in the kitchen or the bathroom or the front entrance, it will pay you to protect them with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to be back with you again for another season, and we're very happy to announce that we'll have with us this year that live wire with the deadpan, our old friend and yours, Ransom Sherman.
Yes, and we're looking forward to the next 38 weeks.
How many, Molly?
38.
Only 38 shows to go. My gosh, how the time flies. Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. The Kraft Cheese Company will also bring you the Kraft Music Hall every Thursday night. Present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Whedon and Sam Moore. We'll hear from The Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. What comes to mind when someone mentions a food you haven't tried? Well, I found that most folks want to know right off quick, how good does it taste? We all eat the foods we like. And there are many fine foods you like a whole lot better when they're spread with delicious parquet margarine. That goes for bread, rolls, muffins, pancakes, and waffles, for a wide variety of your favorite foods, because parquet adds flavor that really satisfies. Like all the other fine foods made by Kraft, parquet is top quality, has a flavor that's fresh and sweet, a flavor that's both delicate and appetizing. And as for good nutrition, just listen to this. Parquet margarine is one of the best energy foods you can serve every day of the year. And each pound of parquet contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So for good nutrition and for delicious flavor that really satisfies, buy and serve parquet. That's P-A-R-K-A-Y, parquet margarine, made by Kraft. Now, what about our friend the Great Gildersleeve? Well, he's been working so hard at one thing and another that he's awarded himself a day off, which he begins, as usual, with a substantial breakfast, nourishing his mind at the same time by perusing the Summerfield Indicator.
Not going to the office today, Uncle Mort?
No, Marjorie. I've got all my bills out. Everything's in apple pie order, so I'm taking a day off. Thought I might wind up the golf season. It's such a nice day.
That's a good idea. Can I see the paper, Uncle Mort?
Oh, yes, here you are.
Mr. Gildersleeve, did I hear you say you're going to take the day off, or is my eavesdropper out of order?
Well, it's working all right. I'd considered it, Bertie.
Well, as long as you ain't got nothing else to do today, you mind taking down the screen?
Screens? I don't feel very well, Bertie.
I thought you felt like playing golf.
Well, that's different. Besides, I wasn't going to try very hard, just knock the old pill around the course.
It's only about 5 miles.
You're much too alert this morning, my dear. I just don't feel well enough to take down the screens. I've been feeling a little run down lately.
You don't look run down, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, you can't tell by appearances, Bertie.
Here's something that might build you up. Schultz's Market has a special today on pot roast.
Pot roast? Oh, we haven't had any pot roast in years.
Well, here it is, 45 cents a pound.
I'll go right down and get one before they're all gone.
Mr. Gildersleeve, ain't you going to have the strength to take down them screens first?
Bertie, if I don't get there fast, no pot roast. If I don't get the pot roast, no strength. Besides, I need a haircut.
My, last week it was too cold, and the week before it was too hot. This week it's a haircut.
Yeah, but Bertie, look at my hair. I look like a violinist. I really ought to get started right away.
Hiya. Say, what's come over Mrs. Ransom all of a sudden?
I've asked you not to slam the door, Leroy. And what are you talking about?
Why, she hasn't been over here at all since the Halloween party, Unc. Did, something go sour?
I'd rather not discuss it. What happened, my boy?
Well, gosh, I was out in the yard just now practicing drop kicking, and she called me over and gave me a piece of cake.
Oh, she did, eh? Well, if you want the cow, go after the calf.
I didn't even want the cake so soon after breakfast, but I was polite and I ate it. She asked me how you were.
She'll be giving you ice cream before you know it.
What is all this anyhow, Unc?
She's trying to get back in my good book, that's all. Well, I better get on downtown.
Say, Unc.
What is it, my boy?
Can I go to the movies?
Certainly, my boy.
Huh?
Here's 50 cents. Why not take some little friend with you?
What a character.
Well, that's, call it 2 pounds even. That's, 18 points and 86 cents. Wrap it up?
Are you sure it's nice?
Madam, I'll guarantee you'll enjoy it.
Well, if you're sure it's nice.
Absolutely. If it's not, you'll come back and tell me about it.
18 points, you said.
And 86 cents.
Oh, I keep forgetting the money.
Don't they all? Well, who's next here? Oh, you, Mr. Gildersleeve?
By George, I should think you'd go crazy waiting on these women.
Well, you can't hurry them.
How have you been, Mr. Schultz?
Fine and dandy. What can I do for you this morning?
How's Mrs. Schultz?
Oh, she's fine. What can I do for you?
And your mama? How's she?
Coming along. I took her home a nice cut of top round last night, and we played a little pinochle after. I think she's going to be all right.
Great.
What do you have, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, I wonder if you could let me have a pot roast. I'd like a real nice one.
Harry, we got any of those pot roasts left? Take a look while you're in there, will you?
But you advertised a special on them.
I know. Harry's going to take a look.
Real nice one, tell Harry.
I beg your pardon. Could somebody wait on me, please? I'd like a nice pot roast. I'm having guests.
I have to ask you to wait a minute, Mrs. Ransom. There's several ahead of you.
Oh, Leila. I didn't see you here.
Oh.
I've forgiven you for what happened at the Halloween party.
Forgiven me?
Yeah, come on, Leila. Let's let bygones be bygones.
Mr. Schultz, will it be very long?
Oh, here, take my place, Leila. I'm in no rush.
I am quite capable of waiting my turn in line, thank you. I'll be in the grocery department, Mr. Schultz.
Well, come in for a pot roast and you get a cold shoulder, eh?
Teach me to be so forgiving.
Thanks, Harry. There you are, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Is it real nice?
I'll guarantee you'll enjoy it.
Oh.
6.5 pounds. That'll be $3.12 and 65 points.
That's a lot of points. You sure it's nice?
Well, I'm not personally acquainted with the steer it came off of, but it's the last one we got. And if you don't want it, Mrs. Ransom there was looking for
I'll take it.
Of course, if you'd rather have something else.
I'll take it. And I guarantee you I'll enjoy it.
Morning, Miss Gildersleeve. Been expecting you in here for several days.
Yes, I'm a little overdue, Floyd. Say, have you got an ice box I can put this package in?
Ice box? Now, what would a barber shop be doing with an ice box?
Oh, well, I thought to make cold towels with and so on.
Oh, that's just cold water. What's in the package?
A pot roast, Floyd.
That big thing is all pot roast?
6.5 pounds, 65 points. It's a thing of beauty.
Well.
Who's under the towel?
That's Judge Hooker.
Oh, if I'd known it was Hooker, I never would have mentioned the pot roast. He's the dropping-in kind, you know.
Don't worry, Gildersleeve. I won't be dropping in tonight.
Don't be dropping in tomorrow, either. I'm hoping to enjoy this pot roast for a whole week.
All right. Have you got things squared with your lady friend yet, Gildy?
That's none of your business.
I just wondered if you and Leila had been playing sardines since Halloween.
Never mind.
Ever play sardines, Floyd?
I don't know what you're talking about, Judge.
Well, it's a kissing game, and you play it with the lights out. But if you get the wrong girl, it's terrible, isn't it, Gildy?
Hooker, will you kindly refrain from addressing any further remarks to me, or shall I come back for my haircut some other time?
Well, Floyd needs the business, and you need the haircut.
Let's have the cold towel, Floyd.
Okay, Judge. Be with you in just a minute, Mr. Gildersleeve.
All right. Where can I put the pot roast for now, Floyd?
Well, if it was mine, I'd step across the street and put it in the safe deposit box. I haven't seen a pot roast since my cousin Earl was drafted. He was a butcher.
Yeah, I remember Earl. He had a 4-ounce thumb.
Hey, where'd you get that pot roast, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Old man Schultz. It was the last one he had.
Ah, Schultz is a good man. Earl claimed he was the best lamb chop man he ever knew.
Oh?
But who the dickens ever sees any lamb chops nowadays?
Well, we got to get along without some things.
I know, but the way the government's handling this food situation, we'll all be eating grass before long.
I don't think it's as bad as that, Floyd. What do you know about the government's food policy anyway?
Told you, my cousin was a butcher.
He's been in the Army for a year and a half. He's been eating pretty well, isn't he?
Well, he must be getting his share. His wife told me he put on 14 pounds.
All right. There's 7 or 8 million men in the services besides your cousin Earl.
Now, Mr. Gildersleeve, don't get me wrong. I'm not begrudging anything to the boys. But what I want to know is why do we have to feed every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Timbuktu when I don't know where else?
Floyd, who's been filling you with enemy propaganda?
Now, don't be calling me a Nazi, Mr. Gildersleeve. I did my bit in the last war.
All the more reason you should know better. You begrudge the food we send to England?
No.
I should hope not. The English people get 1 egg every 3 months.
Yes.
And how about the Russians? You want their army to slow up for lack of food?
No, but what...
But what?
Why do we have to feed them people in Timbuktu?
Floyd, you're a jackass.
Now, Mr. Gildersleeve, I think that's going a little far.
Floyd, it pains me to have to agree with Mr. Gildersleeve, but in this instance, I do.
Yes, and it might interest you to know, Floyd, there's plenty of food for everybody in this country.
It's easy enough for you to talk. You got a pot roast.
That's got nothing to do with it. The fact is, we're getting as much food as we got 5 years ago.
Horse collar.
Floyd, the man's right. I saw a government report yesterday. It says the same thing.
Well, it don't sound right to me.
Well, it is right. With the victory gardens and all, there's enough food for every man, woman, and child in this country. But that doesn't mean we can eat 10-course dinners every night or waste a lot of good food we could just as well save for another meal.
Well, now, there's no cause to get excited, Mr. Gildersleeve.
There is, too. Rummies like you complaining while we're still the best-fed people in the world. That's the kind of squawking that keeps black markets open. Now, cut it out, Floyd.
Gildersleeve, you're absolutely right.
I know I'm right, Hooker. But thanks anyway.
Don't thank me. I just know the truth when I hear it, that's all.
Oh? Oh. Look, Horace, maybe I'm being a little selfish about my pot roast. Why don't you drop in and have supper with us tonight?
Why, I'd love to, Gildy, but I've accepted a dinner invitation for this evening from Leila Ransom.
What? Look here, you old goat. Mrs. Ransom was my fiancée just a few months ago.
Can't help that, Gildy. She's back in circulation now.
Why? Well, you won't have any pot roast anyway.
Great Gildersleeve will be with us again in just a few seconds. Naturally, all good cooks like a little praise now and then. And I found that a sure way to win the heartfelt appreciation of any cook is to clean your plate at every meal. You'll be pleasing Uncle Sam, too, every time you clean your plate, because by eating every last bite, you help prevent waste, help to make food fight for freedom. Of course, to avoid waste, it's mighty important that you serve foods in tempting, appetizing ways. So here's a war-timely suggestion. When you serve such hearty, sustaining foods as bread, rolls, or muffins, serve them with delicious parquet margarine. Oh, yes, ma'am. When such grand foods as bread and muffins, pancakes and waffles, too, are spread with parquet margarine, they're downright good eating. Parquet's flavor adds to your enjoyment of many fine foods, because Parquet's flavor is both delicate and satisfying. Parquet margarine is a grand energy food, too, and every single pound contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So tomorrow ask for delicious, nourishing Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. And now, where do we find the great Gildersleeve? Well, he couldn't put it off forever. He's up a ladder trying to pry loose the screens from the second-story windows. But let's leave him there for a moment and see what goes on in the kitchen. On the kitchen table sits the light of Gildersleeve's life, his pot roast, all trussed up and ready for the fire. It's a truly majestic roast, a prime cut if there ever was one. And Bertie sings as she slices up tender little carrots to go with it.
Little carrots, get in the pot. Little carrots, get in the pot. Little carrots, there's room for many of more. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, Miss Ransom.
Something smells wonderful, Bertie. I declare you're the best cook.
Yes, ma'am.
One of these days I'm going to steal you for myself.
You won't be the first that's tried it. If you're looking for Mr. Gildersleeve, he's out front.
I know, I saw him.
You want me to call him?
Oh, no, don't. I don't want to disturb him. I came around the back way on purpose so I wouldn't. I'll tell you, Bertie. You see, I'm having company for dinner tonight, and I was counting on a roast.
Oh.
But by the time I got to the butcher shop, there just wasn't a thing left.
Well, Miss Ransom, I don't know.
Well, I told Mr. Gildersleeve I couldn't think of letting him offer me his roast, but you know how he is.
Yes, I know.
So I thought as long as he isn't having company, and as long as he practically insisted, I just owe him a roast. Oh, my, it's a gorgeous one, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think maybe I ought to ask him.
Oh, I know he won't mind. I'll just borrow the pot, too, if it's all right.
Take the pot, take the roast, take the whole thing.
Be sure and thank you for me, Bertie.
I don't know if he's going to thank me. Now what am I going to do? Spend the whole day fixing a nice dinner. In comes the widow and out goes the roast. That man, he'd give away his soul if the devil asked him nice.
Fee-fi-fo-fum. I smell pot roast. Yum, yum, yum.
I don't know what you smell, Mr. Gildersleeve, but it ain't pot roast.
Well, get it ready, Bertie. Get it on the fire. I'm as hungry as a bear.
Mr. Gildersleeve, didn't Miss Ransom speak to you?
To tell you the truth, Bertie, she seems to be making a point of not speaking to me.
Uh-oh.
But that's all right. I'm not speaking to her. Why, Bertie? Why do you ask?
Oh, nothing, Mr. Gildersleeve, only, well, there's been a miscalculation somewhere.
What's for supper?
Never you mind. How'd you move this, Leroy?
Super. Salute to the Marines, Wallace Beery. It's about this old sergeant, that's Wallace Beery. He's crazy about the Marines, only they won't send him to China. So he quits.
Leroy, get out that pot.
So he quits, and he gets these kids and trains them. Well...
That's fine. Now go call your uncle and tell him dinner's ready, such as it is.
Hey, come and get it! So he gets these kids...
No way. Go and tell him nice. This is one time we got to bring it to him gently.
Okay.
You don't need to scream, Leroy. I hear you quite perfectly.
Oh, I didn't see you. Dinner.
Thanks. How was the movie?
Super. Everything is perfect except Wallace Beery dies in the end. He's this old Marine.
Suppose you tell me about it later, Leroy. Where's your sister?
Up in her room.
Marjorie! Dinner!
She's got her door locked. She won't come out.
What's the matter with her?
Don't ask me. Probably Wally Hoff stood her up or something.
Oh, I'll have to talk to her. You go sit down, young man. Oh, Marjorie! Oh, won't answer, huh? Marjorie! Oh, Marjorie! Marjorie! Marjorie, open the door. Open this door before I break it down.
It's not locked.
Oh? Dinner's ready, my dear.
I don't think I care for any, thank you.
Well, you got to have dinner. You can't just lie there. What's wrong, honey?
Nothing.
Oh, come on, tell your old uncle. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Just life, I guess.
I don't think that's anything to be so sad about.
You wouldn't understand.
Why not?
Because you're middle-aged. Your life is practically over. And I'm young, and what have I got to look forward to?
Well, there are lots of things.
What? Name one.
Well, there's, we're having pot roast for dinner.
Pot roast. All you ever think about is eating.
No, listen here, young lady. I want no more of this nonsense. I want to know what this is all about. Is it that Wally Hoff?
Hey, Unc, hurry up!
Is it?
Oh, why will nobody let me alone?
Answer me. Is it?
Yes.
I thought so.
He said he'd call me up. And he didn't. That was 3 days ago.
Now. Maybe he just forgot. Why don't you call him up?
I'd rather die.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say it. I never did have any use for that loafer. The less you see of him, the better. Why,
Don't you say anything against Wally Hoff.
But, my dear, I thought...
Let me alone.
Yeah, but you said yourself...
Get out. Can I have any privacy in my own room?
Oh, my goodness.
What did I tell you?
Women, I give up. Come on, Leroy.
Okay, Bertie. Well, anyway, so Wallace Beery gets these kids and he trains them how to march and drill and everything. And then along come the Japs.
Japs? What in the world are you talking about?
Spoke to the Marines. I was just telling you.
Tell me about it some other time.
I kept your soup hot for you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, thank you, Bertie.
Margie ain't coming to dinner?
No, I guess Leroy and I'll have to take care of that pot roast by ourselves, Bertie. But don't worry, we'll do justice to it. Won't we, Leroy?
Yeah.
Mr. Gildersleeve, let's face it, there ain't no pot roast.
Bertie, there's no pot roast?
I know I should have told you before, but I didn't have the heart, not to mention the courage.
Bertie, I bought it myself. I brought it home with my own hands. What's happened to it?
Well, Miss Ransom took it out of here with her own hands.
Mrs. Ransom?
Yes, sir.
Why in the world did you let her do that?
Well, she said she was having company for dinner, and she let on like you wanted her to have the roast. I didn't know what to do, and I figured she was your lady friend.
She's no friend of mine, Bertie, and no lady either. Don't repeat that, Leroy. And her so-called company is none other than Judge Hooker. Why, that old goat, he's sitting over there right now eating my pot roast. That's women for you. Why, I've stood for a lot, but I won't stand for this.
You going over there, Unc?
Well, I'm going someplace. I'm not going to sit here and eat a poached egg.
Poor Mr. Gildersleeve.
What a character. So anyway, along come the Japs. But Wallace Beery is ready for him. I'm Wallace Beery.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, Phoebe, give me a cigar.
I suppose you want the usual.
Anything. I'm so darn mad. Peavy, anybody who has anything to do with women is not only an idiot, he's wasting his time.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
It's a fact, and that goes for all of them. I'm through with women completely and permanently.
Again?
Yes. I mean it, Peavy. You inquire around, and you'll find that women are responsible for 9/10 of all the trouble in this world.
Interesting idea, Mr. Gildersleeve. Would you care to enlarge on it?
In the first place, Peavy, women are tricky.
Well, now that you mention it...
I'll go farther than that. They're sneaky.
Yeah, but you have to remember, Mr. Gildersleeve, there are women and there are women.
Yes, and those are just the ones I'm talking about. I tell you, they'll take advantage of you every time. You try to be a little polite to them, and the first thing you know, they'll come in and steal your pot roast.
Oh. I take it there's been some trouble over a pot roast.
Pot roast, rib roast, that's not the point. It's the principle of the thing.
Mr. Gildersleeve, did you ever try a chuck roast? Now, there's a delicious cut that most people overlook, and it's economical, too.
Peavy, I'm talking about women, not cuts of beef.
I'm sorry.
What was I saying when I was interrupted? Oh, I was saying that a man is a fool if he puts his trust in a woman.
No, I wouldn't say that. Mrs. Peavy and I, we managed
Yeah,
to...
I know. Mrs. Peavy is an exception to all the rules.
Well, I wouldn't say that either.
I'm not talking about any one woman. I'm talking about women in general. Now, you take Marjorie. A nice girl. You wouldn't want a nicer one. But completely unreasonable. I tell you, Peavy, you can't even talk to them. It's a fact. You cannot have a reasonable discussion with a woman. Well?
I was just trying to think if I'd ever had one.
That's one thing I like about Miss Goodwin. You can talk to her.
Well, there you are. Miss Goodwin is a woman.
All right. It so happens she's a woman. But she has a mind more like a man's. We're not talking about women anyway.
Oh, when did we switch?
Speaking of Miss Goodwin, I wonder, what time have you got, Peavy?
7:45.
I ought to take her something, though, if I do. Peavy, I'd like a box of chocolates.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. We haven't been able to get any chocolate for some months now. War, you know.
Oh. Well, what else can you suggest?
This is for Miss Goodwin, I take it.
You know darn well it is.
Well, if what you say about the lady is true...
What did I say about her?
You said she has the mind of a man.
That's right. What about it?
how about a nice box of cigars?
You're a card, Peavy. You're a card.
Throckmorton, I know you enjoy symphony concerts, don't you?
Oh, yes. The symphony is wonderful. Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, they're all great, Eve. Toscanini, too.
Toscanini's one of the finest conductors alive today, according to Time magazine.
Yeah, they had that in Newsweek, too.
Mm-hmm. I read somewhere the other day a list of the 10 greatest conductors of all time, and Toscanini was ranked third.
Only third? I'd like to know who's any better conductor than Toscanini.
I can't remember. Probably some great conductor of the past.
Well, they're dead. You'd have a hard time proving they were better than Toschi. N'est-ce pas?
Oui, monsieur.
Oui, monsieur. By George, it's a pleasure to talk to a woman like you, Eve. A woman that's been around. A woman that reads occasionally.
Thank you. Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. I've changed my pictures around, and I want you to tell me which way is better.
Well, now, let's see.
You remember I used to have the Grant Wood picture here over the mantel, and the Cezanne still life there opposite the window. Do you think they're better the way I have them now?
Oh, they look great. That Grant Wood picture certainly looks like a farm.
It's beautiful.
I read in some paper that Grant Wood was one of the 10 best American painters. Did you read that?
I think it was in Life. Do you want me to put the pictures back where they were before so you can tell which way is better? Or can you visualize them?
Oh, I can visualize them. Don't move them. They're perfect just the way they are.
Oh, I'm so glad you think so. I like them better this way. But it's nice to have a man decide things.
Ooh.
Tell me, Throckmorton, who is your favorite painter?
My favorite painter? Well, now there's an awful lot of painters.
Another of my beloved authors is Dickens. Do you like Dickens?
Dickens is great. One of my favorites.
Which do you prefer, David Copperfield or the Old Curiosity Shop?
Well, they're both very well written.
Masterpieces. But I think I like David Copperfield better. Mr. Micawber is such a rich character.
Oh, yes, he had plenty of money, all right.
Money? Oh, I'm afraid you've got Mr. Micawber mixed up with someone else.
Oh, of course. Money. I was thinking of Mr. Scrooge.
In the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you haven't reread David Copperfield very recently, Throckmorton.
Well, no, I skipped it this year. It's a beautiful dress you're wearing, Eve.
I'm awfully glad you like it.
Are you fond of symphonies? I asked you that, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
How about operas?
Well, I've never been to one, but I love opera music, don't you?
Oh, I sure do.
I suppose you've been to the opera, haven't you?
No, I've seen them in the movies, of course.
Well, I'm sure that's not the same. But sometimes one hears a lovely aria on the radio. Verdi is wonderful, don't you think?
Great, one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. La 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 la
la la la la la la Solo mio, yeah. Of course, once in a while, I like a nice musical comedy. You know, if it's well presented.
Or an operetta. I heard John Charles Thomas once in a beautiful operetta.
Oh, he's great. Say, Eve, did you ever hear the story about the fellow that said he was fond of operettas, and the other fellow said, what kind of operettas do you like? And he said, telephone operettas. I like a good story once in a while. You know, you got a nice laugh, Eve. Sounds nice. Looks pretty, too.
I hope you mean that.
Oh, I do. You look nice when you smile, too.
I'll try to smile oftener for you.
You will? Eve?
Yes?
The political situation is very interesting.
Oh, I suppose so.
Yes, mighty interesting. At least, well, there's going to be an election next year.
I know. They'll be holding the primaries very soon.
The primaries are very important. Eve, I want you to know how much I'm enjoying our conversation. Most women don't care much for discussing politics and things like that.
No, I suppose not.
But you're different. You think like a man.
Oh, but I'm not a man, Throckmorton.
No, you're not. By George, you certainly aren't. Eve.
What is it?
Would you like to be kissed?
Yes, but I thought you'd never get around to it.
Yeah. Say, this is better than pot roast any day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I lost my temper a little this morning talking to Floyd in the barber shop, but the whole question of food is terribly important. Food is one of the most important weapons in this war. It's becoming more important all the time. Right now, only a tiny percentage of our food, less than 1%, is going to the people our fighting men have liberated from the enemy. But as time goes on, more food will be needed for this purpose. We should be glad to give it, because food is a powerful psychological weapon for encouraging resistance among the people who have starved so long under the Nazis. The food we provide to the liberated peoples helps them to become self-supporting again and to fight on our side. And at the same time, it holds out hope to those behind the enemy lines. These two factors can save thousands of lives of our own soldiers and sailors. So let's produce all we can, conserve all we can, go easy on the scarce items, and keep the rules. There'll be plenty of food for all of us, and the war will be over sooner. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Music heard on this program was directed by Claude Sweet. This is Ken Carpenter speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company, inviting you to listen again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve. The program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.